Hello, welcome to the first event of Jasper's Game Day. I'm the DM, but because I don't have much brains and need those for DMing, I'm going to pass it over to Ash so she can tell you all about it.
Hey guys, thank you all for joining us here at Are You Sure You Want to Do That? This is our first event um, of one, the year, and two of our ambassadorship with the amazing Jasper's Game Day, where they are helping break stigma around mental health awareness and raising money for suicide awareness and prevention. Fenway, I hope I said that right. Um, and we are here with some amazing players and our phenomenal DM. So I'm going to pass this over to some of our players so they can introduce themselves. I'm Ashley, known as Ashley the Bard on all social media, and I will be playing Dahlia. Um, I'm pretty sure I'm an elf because I'm always an elf, and I'm be playing a bard lock.
You're a half elf.
I'm a half elf. This is a first for me. Um, and also keep tuned on Slade's Paradise for all of the rest of the amazing games that will be happening today and for the next 4 days. So, Fenway, I'm going to pass this down to you.
Yeah, absolutely. Hi, everyone. I am Fenway Jones, also known as Fenway the Teen DM on Twitter. I am the founder of Jasper's Game Day, and I am super duper excited to be able to be in this first game for this event. It has taken a lot of planning, and I think this is going to be a great way to start the new year. I will be playing Konari. I am a Kalishtar cleric. And for this game, I am the Ice Queen.
So, Elaine, you're up next.
Eldritch Sugar.
Yeah, I couldn't see the whole name. That's my bad.
Yeah. Hi there. My name is Eldritch. I guess better known as Eldritch_Sugar. I'm a D&D animator on YouTube, and I'm very excited to be here. I'll be playing Elaine Flamehorn, who is a tiefling wizard, and I'm very excited to be here.
Excited to have you.
Very excited. And Traylor, you're up.
Hi, my name is Tony. I can be found on Twitter at Tony C. Beardsley. I will be playing Traylor, a half-elf rogue, and I am the Lost Heir.
And Dr. Crush.
Yes, I'm Shane, also known as Cool Boy Shane on YouTube and Twitter. Actually, Twitter, I think it's Cool Boy Beebles, but if you just search Cool Boy Shane, it should pop up, hopefully. I'm playing Dr. Crush Silverbane, who is a Warforged fighter.
Ooh.
Awesome. And Mike.
Yeah, I'm Mike. You can find me at Silent Chariot on Twitter. I'm playing Curly, the Eloquence Bard, who's the business manager.
Awesome. And Chris.
Hi, as you just mentioned, I'm Chris. I am going to be playing the conductor today. So I am an elf ranger because that's what all conductors do. And if you Google conductor, I recommend not because it comes up with either old weird people or Tom Hanks. So don't do that, kids. Back to you, dear.
You have all of a sudden turned into the Hulk.
Yeah, I just started turning green.
And I will be playing everyone else in this, which there's actually only one really important one, the spouse. So this is Murder on the Eberron Express. Someone here is going to die, maybe multiple people, but not yet, not right now. So we start off in Sharn, the city of Sharn, as you all are on a platform getting onto the train. The Eberron Express is leaving from Sharn and is heading to Fairhaven. And you are all sort of standing on a platform. Some of you have been invited by Egan Baker, or backer, depending on if you're from North Sharn or East Sharn or West Sharn. He is a businessman of sorts, a inventor, and he has recently invented something and is taking it to Fairhaven for show. Some of you know him fairly well. Some of you know him a little less. And you are all getting onto the train. So, as you are all getting on, some of you notice each other. You recognize a few individuals on this train. And Egan is being boisterous as always, talking about how this invention will revolutionize the field of combat, as it is a gun with a silencer attached to it. And he's talking very loudly, particularly to Dr. Silverhand. He sort of pats you on the back a few times and says, "My good lad, I believe we will both be very rich men." And he gets onto the train. Each of you are taken to your room by the conductor. But before we go onto the train, conductor, I need you to roll me an investigation check for each party member here. And if you are trying to hide something, I need you to roll me a sleight of hand or deception check, whichever you prefer. As the conductor is going to be removing all of your armor and weapons.
Well, I will be trying to hide a dagger and my cloak of elven kind.
All right. So roll me either a sleight of hand or a deception check, whichever you prefer.
You want me to do that on D&D Beyond, or?
Yeah, you can do that on D&D Beyond, then just tell me what your results are, since I know that you can't get into Fantasy Grounds.
Okay.
Or if you want, I can roll it for you going forward.
I got a 16 on my sleight of hand.
All right, so train conductor, I need you to roll me an investigation or an insight, whichever you prefer. Which it looks like it's probably going to be... oh, I'm looking at the wrong sheet. Never mind.
Okay. Did you see that one come through?
Yep.
I didn't know.
Okay.
Is it...
Yep.
I'm stuck on Fantasy Grounds, so let me click again. My mouse clicking's obviously failed me. Let's try that again.
It's all right.
Investigation.
Oh, okay. I see what you're doing. Okay, where you have to click where it says +3, not that spot.
Apologies. Yep.
No, you're good. Went into your sheet to see what it was happening.
Yep.
So where it says the +3s and the other pluses is where you'll click it from. So
Yeah.
there you go. So Chris, as you're sort of checking Traylor, your magic item detector goes off. And you catch him trying to sneak in a knife and a cloak. What would you do about that?
There's that fake hearty laugh of ha ha ha. Nice try. Gets bagged, tagged, and put in there. And you know the train ticket. You either put them in baggage or you get off the train. Your choice.
My apologies, sir. I just don't feel comfortable without a knife, but very well. And he'll
We
hand over
provide
his
cutlery.
stuff.
You'll be fine. And then bag it, tag it, and on to the next one. Who's up
All right.
next?
So up next, Elaine, are you trying to sneak anything off, or are you just sort of walking on the train without any items that would be considered bad?
Well, I'd like to take my arcane focus, which is like a wand with a crystal at the end of it. I don't know if that would be considered dangerous, but I'm willing to make a check either way.
I said anything that was a weapon or a magic item. And I'm going to be very generous and say that focuses and things like that are not going to be considered dangerous. even though they probably should be.
Look at the book.
It also
Off you go,
doesn't
madam.
say. Yeah, you check your book. It doesn't say anything about
Yep.
focuses. Yeah, it gets through. Doctor Silverbane, what would you like to do? Are you sneaking anything on? Or are you just walking on?
No, Dr. Crush, Silverbane, he just carries on him his healer's kit and like a briefcase with, some clothes, and doesn't have any weapons. He's a doctor. So he just kind of tips his bowler hat at the conductor and walks aboard.
Right. And Curly, are you trying to hide any items in particular, or are you just going through?
No, I'm just gonna go through.
All right. Connery, is that how you pronounce it? I want to make sure.
No, I'm sorry. No, it's Canary.
Canary, okay.
Um,
right.
And so I'm not trying to sneak anything on. All I have is, so basically there's something about her. She doesn't want to tell everybody that she doesn't show that she's a cleric. She's dressed as actually a monk. So she's not wearing any armor or anything. And she has a scarf hiding her holy symbol. But that's basically all she's wearing.
All right. Dahlia, are you trying to sneak anything on, or are you walking onto the train without the items?
I'm going to try to take my my flute with me, which is not a magic item.
Okay. Yeah, you go on. Nothing buzzes for you, train conductor Chris, as everyone else walks on. The spouse of Egan, Backer or Baker, depending on from your north or south, Sharon, gets on without any items as well. She nods to you, Chris. And of course, Egan, Backer, or Baker, depending on if you're from north or south, Sharon, he gets on, but he has his gun in a case, and he looks at you and says, "Don't worry, lad, it's in safe hands. You don't need to worry about this." And of course, you have no way of stopping him, as he is Egan, Backer, or Baker.
Mr. Baker, and give him that hard stare, and then step back slowly to let him on the train. Very slowly.
And he gives you a solid pat on the shoulder and bolsterous as ever, and he goes and he takes his place on the train. So, Chris, you would go back up to the engine room, start the train up, and start to prepare for departure.
Beep.
You probably would know that as you're leaving Sharn, there's been a magical storm that's kicked up. And this magical storm sometimes causes weird fluctuations in the magic of the surrounding area. Probably would know to warn your passengers that there might be some oddities on the road in the next 15 to 20 minutes. So yeah.
Okay, so I'll walk down through the various carriages, handing out magical protection blankets and pointing out to the guests the safety exits are not to be used while the train is in motion. We're in for a ride. The buffet is marvelous, and if anything goes horribly wrong, the red cord on there doesn't work. Don't pull it. Just shout very loudly, and someone will come to attend your immediate needs. Have a wonderful trip, and then bugger off back to my post.
All right.
Thank you.
Elaine, as you're getting onto the train, taking your luggage that you are allowed to pull on, you're going to be on the train for at least the next 3 days. What would you like to do as you're getting settled in?
I suppose mill about. Just kind of take check of people around. I could have sworn I spotted someone really familiar in the crowd earlier.
Yeah. Well, everyone's made their way into their rooms at this point. Some of you have less accommodable rooms, and you're in the galley of the train. some of you have the more first-class accommodations. For those of you that are in the first-class accommodations, that would be Dahlia, Dr. Silverbane, Traylor, and you, Elaine. You would notice that the spouse is not staying with Egan Backer, but is instead in the carriage with Chris, the train conductor. Gasp. Those of you that are not in first class are in the galley part, where it's probably not as roomy or comfortable, but it's not a horrible place by any means. So, Elaine, would you like to go talk to anyone else on the train?
Muted.
Muted.
Oh, it was muted. I guess go look for that familiar person.
All right.
Not
Who
in like
is
a not in like a stalkery way, but more like a
Yeah.
casual. Oh, you're here too.
Right. Not creepy at all, I'm sure. So that would be Dahlia. And she's also in the first class carriage. She's on the opposite end of the room that you're in. So you're on the far right one. She's on the far left one over here.
I will just be playing my flute. Do, 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 do.
All right. All right. So as you are playing your flute, Elaine walks into the room. You two sort of spot each other, and you recognize her.
I wave. Hi, Elaine.
I wave back, a bit like flustered and awkward. Oh, Dahlia, I didn't expect you to be here. Fancy running into you.
I know. I didn't expect you to be here either. I'm with my he's somewhere over here. My manager. We are on our way to Everon for a quite a big show.
Yes, I'm sure that's all very exciting and everything. How long are you going to be here for?
Oh, probably a couple of weeks.
And did you know that Mr. Baker is on the train as well?
Is he really?
He is. He's got a new fun thing to show everyone.
Oh, him and his fun things.
Ridiculous, right?
Oh, absolutely ridiculous. Well, it's lovely seeing you.
It's lovely seeing you too. And she's a red tiefling, but she blushes even more.
She winks.
All right. So while they're having conversation, Dr. Silverbane, what would you like to do?
Dr. Silverbane would probably want to also be out of his cabin and kind of socializing. Quite enjoys it, in fact. So I think he doesn't eat, but he would probably go to the dining car, maybe head over to where the bar is, and hope to strike up a conversation.
All right.
Do you mind if I move my character over there?
Yeah, as you're making your way to the dining car, you reach out and grab the door to open it. And as you grab the door grabs you. And it comes to life. And is going to try to bite you.
What is all of this then? Who put a mimic in my car?
It fortunately for you, unfortunately for the mimic, it misses as it tries to crunch on your metal hide. And we're going to go ahead and roll initiative.
Oh, man.
Wow, the mimic rolled really well. So not only did it get the drop on you, it got the drop on you a second time, and it goes to try to bite you again. Which it
I
does
didn't even
not.
roll initiative that time. Hold on.
Oh,
Wait,
I
maybe I
rolled
get
it.
higher.
Sorry, I rolled for you. I apologize. So yeah, when I say
No
roll
worries.
initiative, it's a one-touch button for me to click, and it rolls it for everyone.
That's totally fine. No worries.
So yeah, you did get a 17, but he missed you because you're a big, sturdy lad, and he's just but a tiny mimic with a tiny mouth. Train
Yeah.
conductor Chris, you hear the panic shouts of Dr. Silverbane as a commotion is happening.
So, you want to get roughed up, huh? Well, have at tea! Ugh.
So what would you like to do as it's now your turn?
So, hear the commotion. After chatting to the lady I was speaking to at the moment, take an object because it sounds as if there is some sort of commotion going on. So I'll take my official train rod with me and head out the doorway towards the noise. I'll take a blanket too.
You should be able to move your character. I'm for the purposes of the combat, I'm going to add the grid back on so you guys can see it. So each square is 5 feet, obviously, and you should be able to move your token now.
Cool. Okay, I'll just move up to it. I'll just move up to it, and then that's me.
All right. Well, actually, I say that you can move your token, and then oh no, I was on the wrong thing. So
I pretend to move my token. You can move it for me, glorious
5,
DM.
10, 15, 20, 25, 30, and then that'll pull you into here. 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, and then I'll say you can get kind of here-ish, which will give you advantage. So you had to dash to get there, but
Cool. If there's anyone in the room, I will just simply rush past and saying, "Continue enjoying your drinks," and just run on through.
you see Dahlia playing on her flute as you sort of dash past.
It's lovely. Just keep running.
Dr. Silverbane, this mimic in front of you is trying to get you. He does not look very pleased. But then again, do mimics look pleased? I don't know. Kind of looks happy, maybe. He's got like a big smile on his face.
It is a door.
What would you like to do? It's a door with a smile. It's a happy door. So, Dr.
Well,
Silverbane.
if it's a fight you want, it's a fight you'll get, I say.
So if you control click the mimic, you should be able to target it then.
Yeah, there we go. Control, like hold control and then click?
Yeah, hold control and then click, and then it'll target the mimic. Perfect. And then you open up your character sheet and the actions tab.
And just hit the die that has the +7?
Yeah, where it says +7, exactly. And that's your unarmed strike.
Did it go through?
Double click, single click won't work.
Okay.
There you
Good
go.
to know.
Went through. That's a hit. So you punch the mimic. Roll your damage, which is the 1d8 +4. Perfect. So as you slam the mimic in the face, your hand sort of sticks to the mimic almost, as it is adhesive.
I get another attack, I believe, so I'm going to try to use my other fist and smack him a second time.
So yeah, you get a second attack. That's the same number. 12. Yeah, you hit. So roll damage.
The same number.
What? Okay. Well, yeah, you slam your other fist in the mimic, and it sort of sticks too. So you're sitting there like this at the door. So you can action surge and try to, kick it and wallop it some more.
Not for a mimic. I just gonna kind of look at the conductor who sort of like dashed over here, and I say,
Well, this is most unprofessional.
All right. Okay, can you pronounce your name one more time for me? It's going to take me a couple seconds to get the name, but Fenway. Canary, okay. Canary, you can hear sort of across the dining car some commotion coming from first class. You can hear the voice of what sounds like Dr. Silverbane. What would you like to do?
So do I have to go through the dining car?
Yeah, you would have to move from your position through the dining car to get to first class.
Got it. Okay. So I'm gonna try and I'm gonna double move to try and get there.
Okay. So if you just click your token, you can use your arrow keys to move up and down and such.
That's cool.
So we'll say that that's 5, 10, 15, and then you would get to the other side, and that's 20, 25, 30, 35. All right, yeah, that's 60 there. So yeah, the other door is closed, but as you sort of come into the dining car, you can see the windows of the dining car. You can kind of look outside and see what looks like these sort of rolling storm clouds that seem to be on the ground almost, not quite in the sky. And they're flashing with different colors. You can see pinks and blues and yellows and purples. And the clouds are black, but these colors sort of make them shine that color for a short period of time. It looks like lightning of different colors. And as you're running through this cart, you increase in size by 1 status category.
Jeez.
So you grow to a very large individual as you're sort of just running through this cart. You trip over a chair as it hits you in the knee. But yeah, that'll be your turn. Traylor, you can hear the sort of commotion going on down the hall from you outside of the room and to the left there. What would you like to do?
You would peek out the door to actually see what's going on.
Okay. So that's 10 feet. You peek down the door. You can see what looks like train conductor Chris on the behind of a door that has a sort of face on it. And you can hear Dr. Silverbane on the other side of that door talking and yelling at the door, which you can tell is not a door, it's a mimic at this point.
Well, that is most unfortunate, and he would just go back inside his cabin.
You look out, you see the mimic. That's not my job. And you go back in. Right?
Yeah, if only you had your knife on you. Oh well.
Yeah. Oops. All right. The spouse kind of adjusts in her little room. She goes 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, sort of opens the door, sees the mimic. She lets out a kind of sigh, and she looks at you, Chris, and says, Conductor, is that regulation?
No, ma'am. That's why I have the blankets.
She nods and sort of pulls out her holy symbol and readies it for the next round. Elaine, you can hear. Would you still be in Dahlia's room at this point, you think, or would you be back in your room?
I think like we were still like having a conversation
Okay.
when Dr. Silverbane encountered the door.
Started having his moment, yeah.
Yeah. So
Right.
I guess she hears the commotion, and then like very loudly says, "Don't worry, Elaine. Don't worry, Dahlia. Elaine will protect you." And then she goes outside, and I cast Firebolt at the door at what people seem to be focusing on.
Right, yeah, so that's 5 feet to go out, and then if you control click the mimic, that'll target the mimic for you.
I think I did it.
I don't see the targeting on your character. You have to hold control and then click the mimic at the same time.
Right
You
or
had
left click?
left click, sorry. There you go, you got it now. Awesome. So now in your sheet you should see it says Firebolt, and then there's a little casting button next to it. It says range +7. Awesome. Unfortunately, that's not enough to hit the mimic. You pull your Firebolt in hand and fling it at the mimic, and the mimic sort of sucks itself into the room a little bit to avoid it, and the firebolt goes down the hallway. Anything else you would like to do?
No, that'll be my turn.
Awesome. Dahlia, Elaine has told you that they will protect you. What would you like to do? You hear the commotion going on down the hall as well.
I will, as she leaves, I'll just throw a bardic inspiration her way, and I'm going to continue just sitting down, just do 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 do.
All right. So, Elaine, you now have bardic inspiration. So, if you were to roll your attack again and miss, you will have a chance to roll a d6, or is it a d8 at this point?
Pretty sure it's a D8.
No, she's multi-class, so I think
Okay.
it's still d6.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, d6. All right. Anything else, Dahlia? Anything else, Ash?
No, I'm done.
Curly, you can hear the commotion going down from the first class. You could probably hear. God, I don't know why my brain is blanking on your name specifically. Connery. No, that's not it. Is it it? I don't know.
Sorry.
Canary, right? Saying it right? I don't know why. I do this just to one person every session. I don't know why it has to be you.
He's not lying. This happens.
I don't know why. It's just when I look at your name, my dyslexia, it's just like it flips it into all kinds of things, and I'm like having to spend like time thinking of what it is, and then I forget what it was, and then it's bad. Canary, okay. So you heard Canary leave the room, go down into the dining car. What would you like to do, Curly?
Who else is in the lower class? Did you say?
It's you and Canary.
Okay. I would try going to see if, up to first class to see if I can find Dahlia.
All right. So you go 5, 10 into the galley, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. And as you're coming into the dining car, you can see Canary has grown in size quite a bit and is sort of standing in the dining car, maybe looking a little bit confused.
Mhm.
Would you like to just continue moving? Or I don't know. What would you like to do seeing this?
Hey, how you doing?
I'm fine.
You look bigger than usual.
Is that a comment on my size? Of course it is. Of course it is. Always.
I mean, taller.
Yeah. Of course. Because of the magical lightning.
What magical lightning?
You can look out of the dining car's windows now, and you can kind of see the storm clouds and the different colored lightning outside.
Is there any damage to the train? Like,
No damage to the train as of now, but as you're sort of glancing outside the window, oh, that's a bad one. Yeah, so as you're sort of looking out the window, you see a little bud of red, tiny flame right in front of your nose, about an inch from it. And you watch as it all of a sudden goes, and it explodes as a fireball erupts in your area.
Great.
Luckily, Kanar, you're just out of the range of that, because that would have hurt. So you take, Curly, I need a dexterity saving throw, please.
okay, don't I have, let's see.
So you have a +3 to this save.
Okay. Then I just roll the d20.
Yeah. You roll a d20.
Did it roll?
I didn't see it roll. If you go into your main page of your character sheet where it says Dex +3.
What about that?
There we go. Yeah, that's perfect. So yeah, you passed the save because I think it's based off of your save. You take 15 points of fire damage as it sort of erupts around you.
Okay.
And yeah, you're hurting, but it's not as bad as it could have been, which would have been 30 points of damage. So that's good. So yeah, you moved up, you dashed to get into this room. You had a fireball cast on you. Do you have anything else you would like to do, bonus action wise?
No, I think that's it.
All right. Back at the top of the round here, the mimic, hungry as ever, tries to take a bite out of you, Dr. Silverbane. And his teeth just sort of gnash against your metal plating, unable to do anything to you.
You have to try better than that. Yes.
Chris, you're up.
Unhand the first class passenger, and what I'm going to attempt to do is use the blanket to throw over the mimic and then grapple it that way and take it away. So I've got 2 attacks. So that's the intent of the action. So
Okay.
blanket over the door and then try and grapple it and then drag it away from the good doctor.
All right. So then an athletics check versus its athletics to see if you can grapple it, because throwing the blanket over that shouldn't be an issue. But yeah.
Can I assist or
He does not need it. So yeah, Chris,
Okay.
you grab the blanket and you throw it over the mimic, and you sort of grab it in this. For a conductor, you're pretty strong. You get this mimic in a grapple hold, and you start dragging it. Unfortunately, as you drag it, Dr. Silverbane is also being dragged as he is also attached to the mimic in this weird conga line of grappling.
So step back from the door, please. This is official train business. You don't need to hold on to it.
Unfortunately, it seems I am fixed to said door. I can't quite step back as I would like to.
And is it possible my second attack to use the bar I had to unpry the good doctor?
I'll allow it. So it'll be another contested athletics check, I think.
Sure.
Actually, let me see if there's a DC to get off the.
Sure.
I don't use mimics as often. Yeah, so there's
yeah.
a set DC for the adhesive, so you can just roll an athletics to see if you can break the adhesive between him and the mimic.
Yeah, I'll see if I can try that. And then the idea is I'll use the rest of my 15-foot movement move towards the door if I can.
All right.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, that is enough to beat the DC. So you break the grapple, you break the adhesive on Dr. Silverbane, and you can just start pulling this mimic kind of 15 feet away.
Yeah. So
the mimic's just squirming in your arms, making these horrible noises
like
as you're pulling it.
Removing an angry door that wants to kill people off the train, and the attempt is to throw it out of the hatch, alien style, at some point in time.
Absolutely. So there is a door at the front of the train in the engine room that you can take it to and just sort of honk it out and let the train run it over.
Yep, absolutely. And apologize to the scholar. Sorry, ma'am. These things happen, trains. And then keep walking. That's the end of my action. Thank you.
All right. Dr. Silverbane, the mimic has been ripped off of you at this point and is being dragged away. It's very angry.
as the conductor's taking care of the problem, I'm like dusting myself off and examining my cufflinks and things like that, and I kind of just say like,
and with all due respect, I expect a replacement door post haste. Good job, though. If you need any help, I can help you out, but I don't want to get stuck again, so...
Yeah. Give him that.
Do you
nod
ask
of-
for help,
of
or do
course.
you just sort of let me go about my business?
No, you're a first class passenger, sir.
Okay.
All right. Well, you still have your movement and your action, Silverbane. Whatever you'd like to do, you can do.
Can I do anything that's not combat related to right now to help him out? Maybe.
I mean, it's covered up in a blanket at this point, so if you wanted to, you can like just give him a hand carrying it out. But yeah, besides that,
Yeah, let's do that. You know what? I ask, and you're like, no. He goes, no, because you're trying to be polite. But then I'm like, but I have to help. So I'm gonna go over and I will attempt to sort of grab by the blanket to help get this mimic off the train faster.
all right, yeah. So I'll give you guys another like 15 feet of movement. So 5, 10, and like can't quite get like where you're wanting to go because there's a lady in the way. But as soon as it's your turn, she'll move out of the way.
Excuse me, pardon me.
Excuse me, madam.
Oh, pardon me. That was well handled. And Kanari, you're up. You're enlarged and
In charge.
in charge.
Handled. Well handled, like a door handle. Good one.
Sorry. I was like, hey, that's a good pun, actually.
I realize that combat's over, but I don't know that. So I am going to 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, and then end up here and move.
Yeah, so that would have been your 52. So the next step was just 5 feet.
Yeah, so that's 60.
Yeah, that would be 60.
Cool.
So you can see Dr. Silverbane and Conductor Chris are sort of grappling this thing wrapped in a blanket that you recognize as the magic protection blanket. Yeah, they seem to have it well in hand. But Elaine, you and Conductor Chris, because I don't think that Dr. Silverbane, you would notice this, but you two would notice Kanari is very large, larger than normal.
Good heavens! You're very large, larger than normal.
Again with the comments. Everybody comments around here.
I mean, we're not trying to be rude. You just... Are those new shoes? You look taller.
Yes, they're high tops. Assuredly, yes. That's what I meant.
How tall were you normally in terms of your normal height?
So Pal stars are actually a little bit taller than humans. So I would say like 6'1".
So you're probably standing at like 12'2", and your head's like hitting the top of the hitting the roof a little as you're just sort of walking and bending down. You're gonna have to like kind of crunch down a little bit to avoid. Oh boy. Yeah. All right. Anything else you would like to do, bonus action wise, or?
No, I just want to watch.
Okay. So yeah, Traylor, you would hear this sort of commotion coming from the hall of them seeming to have handled it, but something about Kanari and their size. And what would you like to do?
Hey, he would just take something out of his bag to test his door to make sure it's not going to try to bite him as well.
All right, yeah. So you're checking your stuff then. Everything seems normal.
Yeah, and that's all he would do. He can't assist with carrying anything.
All right. The spouse sort of takes a step to the side here, and kind of make sure that she's out of your way for when you come through, because obviously she doesn't want to stand in the way of you carrying this thing out. She's kind of got away from the door and is just kind of watching you guys to make sure everything is okay. Boys. Elaine, you're up. What would you like to do?
Well, it looks like they've clearly got a handle on this, and I think that I'd only get in the way of them throwing a mimic out of the train. So I'm just gonna kind of stand back, kind of like do the big dramatic, like, whew, pretend to wipe the sweat off my forehead. Like, whew, oh, thank goodness no one got hurt. That would have been really tragic.
As you wipe the sweat from your forehead, you look at your hand as it's coming away, and you notice that your normal red pigmented skin is now a vibrant blue.
Huh.
Now looks different.
Not really sure how that happened. I go to like look for anything glass or metal to see my reflection.
It's
Yeah.
lightning.
You kind of can look into Dahlia's room, and as you do, your entire skin is a vibrant blue.
Well, this is new.
For a tiefling, I don't know how shocking this would be to you. You know, your skin normally being red, but
it's like if my skin randomly turns green, I still think I'd be surprised.
yeah, I feel like you would be like, "Oh no, your whole life is now changed."
My color coordination with my outfit, it's ruined.
You were a red tiefling for all of like 40 minutes.
Oh. Well, yeah.
Wild magic.
Anything
I guess
else
I'm
that you
blue
would like
now.
to do?
You look just
Dabba
fine.
dee dabba die.
I'm sorry.
Hey, you got it.
Yep,
Yeah.
broken the DM. Good work. First stream.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So anything else you want to do, Elaine, now that you're blue?
Nah, not really. I guess just like continue examining myself in the mirror, and I'll just end my turn doing that.
All right. Dahlia, you can see Elaine is now a vibrant blue. What would you like to do?
Oh, you look just fine. The blue matches.
You really think so?
Absolutely. You're absolutely adorable. Combat is still going on, correct?
Until they get the mimic out of the ship
Okay.
or out of the train, yes, for now.
So I'm just like, everyone's got it taken care of. I don't really want to break anything. I'm just gonna sit here, guys. I'm not that Bard.
So as Chris, you're taking this mimic in the blanket. All of a sudden, you hear this crack of thunder in the distance, and the blanket itself comes to life and tries to wrap itself around you.
No, not fair.
Remember, this is much safer than air travel. He said, the conductor says, if he's being attacked by a door, a blanket, and there's a blue tiefling standing next to him now. Yep, oh, and there is a giant ice queen, and we could see flames at the back of it. So far, so good. Literally, we get back to the station. Keep going.
You get grappled by this thing as it sort of wraps itself around you, and you're restrained. Do you take the damage immediately? I very rarely use it at the start of each. Okay, so it's the start of each of your turns. I very rarely use rocks of smothering. Gosh.
So,
This-
cool.
Yeah,
Question-
this is
question-
much safer than air travel.
Yep. Yep.
Much.
Statistically speaking.
Yeah, so this thing is just wrapped around you and has got you in its little ruggy grasp.
Ruggy grass.
Yep. It's going great, guys. We'll figure out who killed Egan Baker eventually.
I'm pretty sure at this rate it was the train that killed him.
The train took his gun and said, "Kaboom!"
Mystery
you're up.
solved.
Mystery solved. You are currently sort of running through the dining car. You just got blasted by just an explosion from the fireball there. What would you like to do now, Curly?
So yeah, I would continue looking for Dahlia. So I would I would look in each compartment to see which room she's in.
I am playing the flute. I will let you know, so you can probably hear my music.
So even with a full dash, you can't quite get out of the dining car yet. This dining car is huge. Okay, yeah, I guess it's bigger than I thought it was. I thought it was like 60 feet from end to end, but it's like 80 feet from end to end. 85 feet from end to end. So yeah, you're not quite out of the next door yet, but you're kind of, as you're wiping the suit off of you and the fire and stuff, you dash across this horror train. The mimic, still quite alive, decides that he also would like to participate in the fight. As he tries to bite you again, Dr. Silverbane. This time he manages to do that, and he snaps at you with his teeth. Oh, that is almost max damage as he gets you with his big teeth. Chris, you are restrained and grappled by the rug. As this rug has you restrained and grappled, it is going to do some damage to you at the start of your turn. So that's 16 points of bludgeoning damage as it sort of starts to crush you. You can try to break out of this grapple.
That would be lovely because dying in front of first class passengers isn't in the manual. So let's try and get out of that one.
All right, roll me a athletics check, and let's see if you can manage to break out of the grapple. That is enough. So as you're sort of like, you got this mimic in the rug, and the rug has got you. You're fighting the rug off, and you manage to get out of the rug successfully.
Can I drag the rug through the door? So I'm trying to move back towards the end of the
yeah,
train.
I'm gonna say that you still got the mimic grappled, and the mimic is grappled through the rug, and the rug was trying to grapple you. So
Yep.
yeah, you can manage to pull the rug and the mimic 15 feet. So that's 5 feet, 10 feet, 15 feet. So the rug is just like meh, and the mimic's like meh. Dr. Silverbane's like meh.
One or two rugs. There's a rug holding the mimic, and is there a rug?
So yeah, he's like holding the mimic through the rug, and the mimic is holding the rug, and the rug is trying to hold Chris, and Dr. Silverhand's holding the rug and the mimic, and the mimic is like this, and the rug's like this, and
as a way to distract, on the way past Miss Flamehorse, your hair looks lovely, madam, as he's being eaten by a rug. Just kind of leans backwards into the train.
she's trying really hard not to laugh as she can see this sort of like pair of you trying to take the pair of these things off the train. Dr. Silverbane, are you just continuing to sort of help with this rug mimic situation?
Okay. Like Dr. Silverbane's pretty strong. I want to get the if I can pull, since they're kind of attached.
Right.
If I can yank the mimic, which is attached to the rug because it's sticky, right? And yank it off of the conductor.
Oh, the conductor's not grappled anymore.
Oh.
He broke the grapple off on his own turn.
Great. I would like to grab these two creatures and hoist them backwards out of the train. Since there's
Okay.
that connector there, I imagine that's not like directly connected, or
Let me check the layout really quick because it did mention something about how the trains are connected. So
yeah, if
these
there's
trains are connected. They have like this middle piece that is in between the trains. I don't know what it is, but it's not. I'm not counting that as space because it says don't count that as space between the
Okay.
trains in terms of getting through. But yeah, they're connected effectively by this sort of small little midsection thing, a mid connector. So
guess-
there's no opening.
as a free action, I'll ask the conductor.
Where's the closest hatch that I can get rid of these things?
Behind us, Doctor, at the front of the train. The point to the
85
far end of
feet.
the train where you can see on the
85
map.
feet this way.
Okay. I would like to pick these things up and run towards the back of the train, or the front, I
Right.
guess.
So do you have the thing that makes it so that you have no like carrying capacity, or that your carrying capacity is bigger in terms of like your size?
I think I do. Powerful build for
Powerful
a Warforged,
build.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
when it comes to carry, so yeah, you can dash. If you use your action, you can dash 60 feet this way. And I will say that because the conductor is kind of like with you, he will get to go with you, and then the mimic's going with you, and then you're going with you, and it's all just sort of like, actually, they need to go a little bit more this way, so it's be like that, because you'd be going here. So you guys managed to get there, sort of carrying them, and the train conductor is just sort of going with you as you're running towards the exit. You still got a little ways to go, so they're going to get one more round of combat probably.
Before that round starts, can I do a second wind as a bonus action?
You can, yes. You can second wind as a bonus action.
How do I just...
So in your sheet, in the actions tab, you see the little green, not the green, the red plus sign.
Yes.
Just click that.
Ooh,
you go.
max!
And then
I believe...
you click the little button, the little like circle next to the fighter, second wind. It looks like a little circle that just says next to it.
Oh,
There you go.
gotcha,
That'll just mark that
gotcha.
you've used it. Not that it matters, because after this, you're gonna probably get a few things done. So
Okay,
yeah, you guys
cool.
move over there. Kanari, you can see them rush out into the next thing, fighting these mimics and these other things as you're coming through.
So I'm gonna move my 60 feet.
All right. Boom, 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 boom. It's like a giant walking through this hallway.
Wait. Actually, I'm only gonna move my 30 feet. I'm gonna cast a spell instead.
Okay.
So I'm gonna move there, and then on the mimic.
Mm-hmm. So control click the mimic. There you go.
I am going to cast Solitary Fireball, which means it only goes to one creature.
Absolutely.
I appreciate that.
Did you roll the save for it?
No, I didn't.
That's okay. You can just roll the save for it now.
How do I roll the save for it?
Oh, the coding for this one's a little wonky. Okay, yeah. I'll fix it for you. That's not what I meant to do. No. Okay, I'll fix it. Yeah, there wasn't a save on there. That's my bad. I thought I checked this earlier. What's your casting mod? It's int or wisdom, I mean?
It's wisdom, yeah.
Awesome.
So you want me to
Just
roll?
just roll the save for it now. It should be next to the damage now. Okay, yeah, it failed, so then it takes the full damage anyways. There we go.
So it's 24 fire damage on a door.
All right, yeah, you light the door up as this sort of flame erupts around it. You guys kind of grabbing it for a second. You like feel like letting go, but the flames don't hurt you. All right, is that your turn?
Yes, that'll be my turn.
And just so you guys know that are watching at home, Solitary Fireball is from the Deep Magic Kobold Press stuff. So it's pretty cool. It's a bunch of spells, like 700 of them. Traylor, you can hear some commotion going down the stairs. You see a very large Canary go past you. What would you like to do, if anything?
He would just make his way to the bar at this point
Right.
and wonder why he bothered getting on the train.
So the bar would be in the dining car. You guys, as you guys came kind of running through the dining cart, you did see a sort of bartender just cleaning glasses as you ran past. And then as you got lit on fire there, Curly, he was like cleaning glasses still. So yeah, you go 5, 10, 15, 20. Yeah, you can probably open and get into the door here as Curly is sort of running past you almost at this point. So yeah, Curly, you see Traylor sort of walk in the room as you're running towards the door looking for Dahlia. The spouse is gonna kind of chuckle, and she goes 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 feet back into the room, kind of sits down on her bed. Elaine, all blue now. What would you like to do?
Well, she had assumed that like the scuffle had calmed down, that it was under control. But then then she hears like more growling noises and like the shuffling of a rug, and then of a fireball. So she's just gonna like look out the door and see what's up.
So yeah, you can look out the door. You see the rug sort of flapping around like one of those wacky inflatable arm mans, and then you see the mimic doing the same thing, trying to get at them as they're being dragged down the hall.
Then I'm going to just in like a panicked I cast chromatic orb on the mimic.
Absolutely. So you're casting it on the mimic, correct?
Yes. Do I have that targeted?
You do now. I just went ahead and did it for you.
Cool. And I'm going to be using cold damage for chromatic orb.
All right. You kill the mimic. It sort of dies in your guys' arms as the mimic is just sort of flipping around. It just stops moving as it gets hit by a chromatic orb from down train. So yeah, you don't have to worry about that anymore, at least. Anything else, Elaine, that you would like to do?
Nah, not really. Just kind of hang out by the doorway. That'll be my turn.
All right. Dahlia, you watch as Elaine tosses a chromatic orb down the hall. You hear this horrible as it dies.
I guess I'll get up and I'll go see what's been going on after the fight, of course, just ended.
All right.
So let's see. Trying to find my character. There she is. Okay. 20, 25, 30. Who is this person that is in front of me? Unfortunately, I cannot see.
The person that is in front of you is Connery.
Oh. What's going on out there?
Well, I think that there was a door attacking the big metal one.
Ah,
and then a rug that was from the anti-magic rug attacking the conductor. You know, the usual, or as the conductor liked to put it, the safer way to travel.
this is considered a safer way to travel?
Apparently, I don't know.
Oh, apparently he hasn't traveled very much on other winds.
Anything else?
Yes.
I mean, a boat is safer than this train.
Well, are you okay? Do you need any type of healing or anything?
Well, no, not at the moment. I'm just kind of quite a bit taller.
Ah, well, the height looks lovely on you.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
I'll look around and I'm just going to sit here in case somebody needs any kind of healing or anything.
Would I see Dahlia as she pokes her head out of the room?
Yeah, so nobody said that they've closed the doors between the carts, so you would probably see Dahlia as she's sticking her head out past the giantess in front of her, between you.
Oh, I physically got out of my seat and I walked down the hall.
Yeah, you were in a little cart here. So yeah, how far are you walking down the hall? Just all your movement?
Yep, I went 35. I went 30.
Okay, then yeah, if you're walking down the hall, you're still kind of 30. You got like 10 more feet, so you'd be like there. All right. Anything else you'd like to do, Dahlia?
I'll throw a bardic of inspiration at. I'm so sorry, Fenway.
Konari.
Kanari.
See, it's not just me. It's rubbing off on you too. That's what you get.
No. Okay. I'll throw a bardic inspiration just in case you need it. I don't like to fight very much.
That's okay. Fighting's overrated.
Agreed. That's all I want to do.
All right. So the rug of smothering tries to fight back one last time before it gets dumped out the window. It managed to grapple you and restrain you, Conductor Chris, as it struggles. Doesn't do damage to you just yet. Curly, you can see Dahlia is in the next cart at this point. Would you like to do your full round of movement to get to her?
Yes.
15, 20, 25, 30. Yeah, you get right in front of her.
Dahlia, I was just trying to get to you. Do you need anything before? Do you need anything while we're on the train?
Wine would be ever so needed and appreciated.
Certainly.
Thank you.
So you ran all this way to ask her what she wants, and she's like, "Actually, I want wine," and you know that wine is behind you in the dining cart. So the mimic is dead. It's no longer struggling. Chris, as your turn starts, you will take some bludgeoning damage as this thing starts to squeeze on you. But you can now try to break out of its grasp and take it the rest of the way out of the train if you like.
That would be lovely. And to Canards, again, I hear the bit about the boat. Madam, trains are far safer. Boats can sink. Trains don't. And then throw the bleeding rug and the dead mimic out the door where humanly possible.
All right, so I need you to roll me an athletics check first to see if you can get out of its grapple.
Now, there have been some brilliant donations coming through, and thank you for everyone, because so far our poor DM hasn't actually got to run any of his adventure. He's just had to deal with doors, rugs.
Oh, you know,
fireballs,
that's absolutely fine. That's absolutely fine.
There is a donation to give us advantage, and that'll be really handy as I'm about to throw this thing out. So if you're out there and you care, give me advantage or disadvantage before I do this.
Disadvantage.
like to
Make it
break out of that place.
interesting.
Oh yeah,
Right.
disadvantage for sure. Make it interesting. Come on.
Actually, whichever one costs more. Actually, do that one.
I'm clicking on buttons.
Disadvantage, you say? Ah, yeah. You can give
I've-
disadvantage with a donation.
I've always loved chat, especially the very kind lady that's clicked on that. And I'd just like to remember that she's playing an adventure tonight, so I will return that in kind, madam.
Ooh.
Anyway, I'll be clicking.
Threats. Look at that. Look at them threats.
It's not threats, they're just gentle reminders of what the conductor does here on the train. It's assist and direct people. I'm going to roll a dice now.
All right.
I have a terrible feeling. Oh, I have a terrible feeling I'm running at disadvantage. Would you like to roll me? Let me go. Athletics, you say?
Yes, athletics.
Okay, let's give that a go. Look at that.
All right. Yeah. So that's enough to beat the DC. You managed to get the grapple unrestrained off of you.
And then
And
with
you
my
can-
second action, chuck him out the door, please, if possible.
You throw him out the door, and for a second, you think he's going to snap back at you, but the train's moving real fast. He sort of starts to go down, and then the train just goes over him and the mimic. And there's not much left of them as they just kind of get turned into mush underneath the train, and the little lightning underneath the train that the train runs on. So with that, we're out of initiative.
Close the door. Tip my hat to the doctor. Thank you, good doctor. That was most kind. Now, unauthorized personnel can't be in the engine room, so I'm going to escort you back to the first class lounge.
Oh, back
And
to
then
business
you can-
then, is it? Well, can I get a replacement door post haste? And you will find me in the dining room because I think I need a drink after all that. By the way, are you injured?
By injured, bludgeoned repeatedly by a rug and a door, but yes, it's heavily bruised around the face, arms, neck, and wherever.
Before you escort me out, perhaps I could treat your wounds. I am a doctor, a licensed professional at that, so I can go to my room, fetch my healer's kit, and fix you right up.
Limp after the doctor. Pick up another blanket that isn't a rug of smothering, please, if that's at all possible.
Do you check it? Just punch it a few times to make sure it doesn't come to life.
Yeah, and then I'm going to hang it over where his door was in that kind of kind of 60s hippie kind of rug type doorway.
So you would know that they do have replacement doors in the cargo. So you can go into the cargo department and get another door and fix them up with one. No problem.
Sure. So I'll make sure I've got no lights and the phones don't work, and I'll go into the dark compartment. Thank you, DM. Great idea.
We're going into a tunnel. It's getting dark.
Oh no! I've hurt my ankle. Yes, we will, and then gently usher the lovely scholar and the flute playing ladies into the thing and around for all these wonderful people. So I'll tell the barman to provide an alcohol of the second top shelf, not the top shelf because that's too expensive.
Right. The barkeep behind the bar goes, Chris, that was pretty rough. We haven't had one of those storms in a while. I'm glad that you're safe, though. And he cleans a glass and spits in it and cleans it a little bit. I get him around, and he starts pouring a shot for everyone.
Yeah, not the good stuff. Not the good stuff. We can't afford that. Discount rates, apart from first class, and then basically limp off.
I'll get him the second bottle.
Yes.
The watered down stuff.
Lots of tonic.
Yeah. He'll pour you all a nice shot. It tastes more like water than it does of alcohol, but hey, free shot's a free shot. And now that we're out of initiative, we'll go based off of the top around here. So, Elaine, now that all that ruckus is done, what would you like to do?
You're muted.
Oh, well, my goodness. What to do? I'm kind of curious what's happened on the other trains. I wonder what's happened to what's his name, Mr. Baker.
Oh, you would have noticed that Baker sort of been sitting in the dining car this whole time. He's eating and drinking heavily, always getting a shot from the individual pouring them.
I kind of give him a dirty look, and then go look for Dahlia.
All right. So yeah, you see Dahlia is still in the first class car. She's making her way to the dining car, correct, Dahlia?
Yes.
Yeah. So do you want to go in the dining car and just sort of find a seat, Dahlia, or where are you heading exactly?
Yeah, I'll head over to the dining cart, the dining cart, and look for my drinks.
All right. Yeah. So at this point, Curly, you've managed to get over to the dining cart where you can order a wine for Dahlia.
I would have ordered myself a drink as well.
All right. Yeah. The barkeep says, "You want a flamin' mo?" And he gives you a little wink.
Oh, yeah, looks like we got a wise guy here. Yeah, I would love a flaming mo.
All right. Yeah. He makes you up a nice drink and lights it on fire and gives it to you. Just make sure you blow it out before you take a sip.
Thank you.
And he gives you a wine for Dahlia. But yeah, Elaine, you would see Dahlia sitting at her booth, waiting patiently for her wine.
These take so long.
Yeah, I'll go over and sit across from her.
Bring Dahlia her wine.
Thank you. Took long enough.
Well, that was certainly a moment.
I didn't see very much. I heard some of the stuff that was going on. I didn't see much.
Oh, it was frightful. A door turned into a mimic, and an anti-magic rug turned into a violent rug, I believe. The conductor and the large metal man were very competent in taking care of it, but I was also very brave.
I'm so proud of you.
And there was a moment of spontaneous combustion. I caught on fire for a second as well.
That Curly comes over and hands you your glass of wine, Dahlia.
Just the spontaneous combustion out of nowhere. How is this more safer than boat?
I've never really understood train travel, but I didn't think the risks were this intense.
Oh yes, this wasn't mentioned at all in the brochure that I read.
Yes, you are the one who booked it, after all.
Yes. Well, I didn't have that many options. Your next performance is we are on a tight schedule.
Oh, is this your manager?
Yes. My name's Curly. And I hold out my hand.
Yeah. I shake your hand.
Okay. Yes, I'm an expert at finding all of the good places for Dahlia to perform at.
And he does a great job, just apparently not with finding transportation to get us where we need to get to. That's safe.
Well, I'm glad you're in good, safe hands for the most part. And of course, the most important thing is that nobody died. That would have been awful and tragic.
That would have been ever so sad. So who took care of the mimics and the rugs and?
The conductor, I believe. He threw them out of the train.
Well, I would love to speak to this conductor for just a moment. He must be in a bit of pain.
I helped as well. as I was trying to get to you, I was saw the conductor, saw them, and was able to give them some words of encouragement.
Oh, that is very kind of you, Curly. Do you need any healing? Are you okay?
I did take some damage, but I think I'm okay for right now. I can always heal myself as well.
Oh, that's right. I forgot that you have that spell. Okay, well, I will go look for the conductor here eventually because he must have gotten beaten up pretty bad.
All right, and we're gonna pause there with you guys. So, Chris and Dr. Silverbane, you two were making your way to your room. Dr. Silverbane, where you were going to patch him up a little, I believe.
Indeed, seems you are a bit beat up. I'll get right to you. And, you there? You look very familiar. Yes, I know you. Canary. Yes. We've spoken before. You seem a bit singed. You alright?
Well, kind of. I might be a little injured, but I think I'm gonna go back to my room and go back to the car, darning car, get a drink, and go back to my room.
Oh, well, don't go back without any treatment. What number are you? I will treat the conductor, and after I'm done, I'll help you out and make sure that you're in tip-top shape.
I'll give him the number of my room.
All right. Yeah, you're in the galley part. So, yeah, you can get there.
Cool. And then I have a healer's kit and the healer feat. So I will use my healer feat to give you some hit points back, conductor. Should be a d6 plus some stuff. And I think I got a double control click on him and then do that ability.
Yeah, so if you control click him, and then it's the second red plus, the 1d6 plus 11.
There we go. Oh, well.
Well,
Hey.
better
there,
than
so
nothing.
Better than nothing. I got salves, I got bandages, patch up, get 12 hit points back. But I can only do that once per, I think, long rest. So that's the one time I can use the kit on you.
That's very, very generous of you, good doctor. Thank you very much. And I'd just like to point out, train travel is by far the most romantic travel you can have. Look at all the people you get to meet. And then limps back towards it, get the other door.
Well, he has the spirit. I'll give him that.
So yeah, Chris, you'd have to pass through the dining car. So we'll move you there. And Dr. Silverbane, where would you like to go, if anywhere? Are you going to stay in your room, or are you going to go follow Kanari to the dining car as well? Or
I guess before the conductor leaves out of earshot, I'll remind him again about I need a door.
Yeah, that's
not just a blanket. A door would be nice. But then after that, I'm gonna kind of follow to the dining car because I gotta get through there. I think to get to the galley where Kanari's room is anyway.
Right. So Kanari, are you heading to the dining room as well then?
Yes.
Okay. So yeah, the large woman passes through first, and then the doctor and the conductor come through shortly after that. So Kanari, you kind of step up to the dining cart, and as you get up to order a drink, you kind of womp 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 back to normal size.
Oh, that was something. Well, this is a much better size. And I'll order my drink.
All right. Yeah. So you order whatever it is that you would like to order. The bartender will smile and say, "It's much preferred for you to be this size, miss, because I don't think I could make you a drink big enough for the size you were before."
Well, at least we don't have to find out.
And yeah, he pours you whatever it is that you like.
Perfect. And I'll go sit in the corner while I drink it.
All right.
Why don't you come sit over here?
Well, maybe in a minute. I'm gonna take some time by myself over there for a minute.
Okay.
So yeah, Dahlia, it would be at this point that you do see the train conductor kind of walking in, limping still a little bit from the incident with the rug and the mimic.
Oh, conductor, would you like to come over here real quick?
Certainly, madam. And as I make my way towards you, I dust off the rug burns. I assume I have.
A few, yeah.
Yeah, just kind of just try and straighten my uniform, straighten my cap, and make myself a little more presentable. Yes, madam. How can I assist you?
I'm just going to like touch his shoulder and give him cure wounds because he's limping and he looks all disheveled. I know I need to control click him, but I don't see his character.
He is in the dining cart below you. This one.
Okay. Is he the person next to my character?
No, right below right below that.
There it is. Sorry. Okay, so I'm gonna just get up real quick. Go and just to help, just a little bit.
That's most kind, madam. Thank you so very much. Please enjoy the fine cuisine and wines that we have presented. I just have to get this gentleman a door. Wild magic studies, you understand, the wars, they cause so many more problems. Nothing to do with the train. Wonderful service.
I'm pretty sure the train is trying to kill us, but it's okay.
No, madam. That would be sea travel. Awful stuff. Whales, merwhales, unicorn thingies, terrible stuff. You drown all the time. Lovely safe. We can stop. You can take the scenery. Look at the clouds, and then kind of side off back to get myself a door.
You would hear the barkeep say, "Oh, don't forget about the krakens in the sea."
There's train krakens?
Oh, in the ocean when you travel on boat.
Oh.
I've never come in contact with a kraken.
And as DM, you could pay to see a dragon on the train if you want. So if you want to donate, you can get a dragon on the train. Because why not?
Please do. Please do.
Donate. I want to figure out how a dragon gets on this train. So please donate for a dragon to get on this train. I don't know how much it is.
Full fare for a dragon. I'm telling you now.
I'll even let you pick the color. And the size if you want.
It's a legendary.
Then yeah, it's automatically like an ancient. Wow, that's bad. Legendary dragon. Okay, I'll figure it out if you pay for it. But yeah, donate now. It's for a good cause. All right, so at this point, we're going to kind of fast forward a little bit in time. I'm going to ask everyone what they've been doing for effectively the last 2 days. And then we'll progress the story towards where Mr. Egan Baker, or Backer if you're from the north or south of Sharn, how he dies. So, Elaine, if there's something secret that you're not supposed to tell everyone, you can keep that stuff to yourself, guys. I'm not just talking to Elaine, but if there's something that your character is supposed to keep secret, you don't have to reveal that, obviously. But for the most part, what everyone is seeing, Elaine, what would you be doing on the train for 2 days? You're muted by the. Oh, you're good now.
Yeah. I mean, probably, milling around, looking out the window, but definitely trying to spend more time with Dahlia just to catch up with how she's been, what her interests are, get to know her a little bit more.
All right. So at dinner time, you'd be sitting with Dahlia. When you're drinking, you'd be sitting with Dahlia. When you're milling around, you'd be sitting with Dahlia. Okay. So yeah. And Dr. Silverhand, what would you be doing for the 2 days that you're on the train? Who would you be chatting with and everything after your door gets replaced by Conductor Chris, of course?
Well, I mean, I'm again Bakker's like servant. So I would definitely be in contact with him. I'd make sure he was safe after that whole wild magic incident. But knowing him, he just likes to do his own thing. So I'd probably catch up with Kunari, who I recognized from earlier. And I might even try to kind of get to know the other denizens of the train, since I'm a sociable warforged. I like conversation and good drink.
All right. Conductor Chris, what would you be doing for those 2 days?
One, checking the rugs are authorized safe rugs and not attacking people. Second, the main thing is having quiet conversations wherever possible with Baker's wife. So there's a kind of conversation he has wherever possible, wherever quietly from there, and maintains a very polite but firm distance away from Baker anytime he sees him on the train. So when he enters a corridor, he kind of steps back, and it's very obvious he doesn't want to talk to him. And when he gets patted on the shoulder, there's that kind of instant flash of something quite malevolent that goes across his face, but he tries to hide it poorly.
All right. And Curly, what would you be doing on the train for the next couple of days here?
Mostly working. We're on the way to Dahlia's next performance, so I'd be making sure like the band is going to be there, the venue, everything's good with the venue that we're going to be performing at, and just making sure everything's good for when we arrive, in the next city. Then any extra time I would be wandering the train, just getting the layout of the people and the train itself.
Okay.
Kind of just like listening into conversations, just to seeing who everyone is.
Awesome. So yeah, you would probably figure out that Dr. Silver Bane is Egan Backer's sort of retainer of sorts. And yeah.
Then I was just gonna say each day I would look different. So like the first day I would have like all black hair with like a goatee, and like the second day I would be like blonde, with just like a mustache.
Okay. Connery, what would you like to do for the 2 days on the train?
Well, mostly I would be spending it either in my room or in the dining car. I don't really know too much of anyone here, besides obviously the loyal retainer and I recognize each other from previous years. And but other than that, I try and avoid as much as possible.
All right. And then after Dahlia, we're going to go ahead and take a quick 5-minute break. So Dahlia, what would you be doing on the train for the 2 days here?
I mean, I would be practicing my my performancing and singing, and you're not going to make me sing. And
you're gonna sing for sure when we come back. Donate to get that to happen, guys. You know, it's gonna go to a good cause, and yeah, you guys have all the power. So.
And yeah, practicing my fluting is that's not a word, but it's a word now.
Sure, you're fluting.
And spending time with Elaine and trying to just be social and get to know some people on this crazy train. Little Ozzy Osbourne there.
So yeah, we have a giveaway, and you need to type in #CrazyChain into the chat. This is for the first giveaway, correct?
Yes, we will be giving Tasha's Cauldron of
Everything.
Yes, of everything. Thank you. And we will also be giving some dice away, some mystic dice. Thank you, D&D Beyond, for being so amazing. So yeah, type that in, and we will get that to you guys.
So again, that's #CrazyTrain, and it's after the break that the giveaway starts, or the giveaway starts now, and then we decide who wins after the.
Correct.
Okay, so yeah, get it in now. We're gonna go on a. How long is the break?
5-10 minutes.
5-10 minute break, and then when we get back from the break, we'll go over and see who's won. So yeah, #CrazyTrain for the giveaway.
And we love you guys.
Yep.
Welcome back to Murder on the Eberron Express. And yeah, we just had the party fight against a mimic door. They covered the mimic door up with a rug of smothering. They didn't know it was a rug of smothering at the time because it was magically turned into one, and it tried to kill the conductor. They managed to throw it off the front of the train, and it was splattered by the train itself. Now that we're back, we had some wild magic surges happen as well. We had the tiefling that was red turn blue, and that's going to be forever, by the way. That's not a limited amount of time. That's just for life or until you get removed curse. So you're blue forever now. We had one of the party members get huge for a period of time and then shrunk back down. And we had someone spontaneously combust. So we are now back. We got some donations coming in still. We do have a dragon on the train. I'm not going to tell you what the dragon is or who the dragon is, but we'll find out eventually.
And we have picked our winner. This is at random. We let a little dice do the job. And I am the Raven Queen. You are the winner of the dice and Tasha's Cauldron of Everything. I will get to you here in just a little bit and send out your codes. Congrats.
Awesome. Congrats. And of course it would be that one because the Raven Queen is my favorite god. So has to be that one, right? Makes sense.
Makes sense.
Makes sense. You won! Congratulations. All right, so yeah, we're coming back from the break now, and everyone's been sort of meandering on the ship, doing what they do. And as the second night comes to an end, it is early morning. If there were chickens on this train, they'd be cock-a-doodle-doodling as you wake up in the morning. Conductor. So I'm going to go ahead and put all of you in your beds. I don't remember exactly where you were, but I think you were here. You were in this room. Elaine, you were in the far right one. Curly was in, I think Curly, you were in this one, and then you were actually here. Curly, you were there. Daly, you're here. Chris, you're here. And Dr. Silvervein, you're here. So, Chris, as you wake up in the early morning, you're going, checking the doors, making sure everyone is good. You would notice something out of the ordinary. And I'm going to actually ask everyone to take their heads off for a moment so I can talk to the people watching on stream. And, plug your ears, whatever you got to do, just to not hear this. And then when I do this, you'll know that you're good. So, oh, Chris, no, Chris, come back, Chris. Come back, Chris. Not you too. I need Chris back. No. I said everybody. I just met everybody but you. So as you're going down your rounds, you do notice something out of the ordinary. First thing you notice is that Dahlia is coming from Elaine's room and making their way back, which is suspicious. And as you come into the dining cart, the second thing you notice is that Baker has been shot twice and is lying dead on the table. He has 2 bullet wounds in his back and a bottle of mostly empty brandy on the table beside him. So we'll pause there and bring everyone back. So you're in the dining car. So Chris, as you see this, what would you like to do?
Is there anyone else in the carriage with the corpse of Baker?
No, not even the bartender is in the room here with Baker. He is still retired, most likely in his little suite, wherever that is.
So make sure Baker's dead in the first place. Check for a pulse, not try to kill him
Roll me a medicine
properly.
check.
Yeah, please. Oh, God. This is bound to go well. Oh, there we go. Not too bad.
Okay, well, that's not very good.
He might be still alive, Jim.
You kind of shake him a bit. He doesn't stir. And as you sort of pull him back, you notice that the exit point is way worse than the entry point. It's just sort of ripped open. And you can confirm that he is indeed dead, though you can't confirm how long he's been dead. But it's pretty clear that he died via shot to the back. And you can see his sort of gun is on the table, not smoking, but it would be smoking gun of the murder, you imagine.
Okay. So first things first, there's no one else in the train. Can I get a clean piece of linen and wrap the gun in it?
Sure. You can also roll an investigation check if you'd like.
Sure.
While you're sort of looking over him.
Yep. Investigation.
Okay. So with your sort of military background that you had before you became a train conductor, you kind of eye the scene. And you can tell that the way the shot was done is that the person was standing over Baker, aiming down at him from behind. And the shot goes through him, through his chest, and into the table. So they were standing sort of at a fairly high angle. You can tell that it didn't seem like he even noticed the person behind him.
Okay.
And in fact, he probably was laying on the table when he got shot.
Second thing, so take the gun, wrap it in linen. Has he got any other ammunition on him? Because this gun was locked in a case that we saw, that he's been clutching for the entire journey.
Right.
About it.
Yeah, he's opened it up a few times and going on about it and everything, but he's kept it on his person. As you look around, you see that the case is in fact open and sort of across the room, over here under this table behind you.
Okay. And is there any ammunition in that case?
The ammunition in the case, no, the gun is fully loaded. It looks like somebody loaded the gun, but yeah, nothing else in the case. And if you open the gun and look at it, or if you're not touching the gun at all, you probably would see that it's missing 2 bullets.
Yeah. I'm just making sure there's no spare ammunition for the gun around.
No.
And with that, because I'm not a doctor, I'm going to go and find a doctor. I know he's one of his loyal retainers, so I'm going to avoid the spouse at this point in time, because there's nothing waking some up in the middle of the night saying, "Hey, your husband's been shot twice in the back." So I'll go off to find the doctor and knock quietly on his door.
Yeah, this wouldn't be quite nighttime. This is like early in the morning, probably pushing 7 o'clock at this point, and 7 a.m.
Okay.
So you maneuver across the train to Dr. Silverbane's door, and you lightly knock on the door.
Yeah.
222.
Excuse me, doctor.
One moment.
And then you see the door open, and I'm like in the white collar undershirt. I'm like getting ready for the day, and I've got it's not aftershave because I can't shave, but it's like an oil that I kind of slick up my face with, and And I go,
What seems to be amiss? What's up?
So the conductor looks slightly paler than normal. Doctor, I need your services urgently. There's been an incident on the train. Can you bring your bag? I think...
Right away, let's go. Let's not waste any time.
Yeah, and hurry back. At the same time, pick up another large linen kind of dining sheet, because I'm going to have to dress the body with something at some stage. So scoop up a linen thing. And then, Doctor, I don't think he's well. And pour on the corpse. I got a 10. It's like, I don't think he's well.
okay. So when I get there, can I make a medicine check?
Yeah, so the two of you make your way to the dining car, Dr. Silverbane. As you walk into the dining car, you can see your poor friend laying on the table. And as you kind of approach him, you can make a medicine check.
Can I assist and point out where the bullets have gone through? Look,
You can give him the help action, and also you turned green again.
Let me toggle advantage then, and then I'll click on the thing.
Yeah.
Oh, double click, right?
Yeah, double click.
There we go. Ooh.
Nice. So yeah, Dr. Silverbane, as you're sort of looking at him, you realize that he is in fact not well. He's worse than not well. He's dead.
Good God.
You also notice that he has been dead more than an hour, but less than 5 hours. So somewhere between 2 to 4 hours, he's been dead. Putting his time of death between midnight and 5 in the morning.
Doctor, as you're his lawyer retainer, someone's clearly murdered Mr. Baker. And again, that's not part of the policy on the train, just to be clear. And you're not indemnified for that either. However, we're going to have to move the body and inform some of the other people on this train, especially his wife.
Yes, indeed. Forgive me, I am a professional, but I've known this man for years. It's a bit shocking to see someone you've known for this long dead in front of you. So let's proceed carefully and not do anything untoward towards the good man.
And you see the conductor show a lack of reverence around the body. There is no concern about that, and you can see clearly I've got the gun and I've tucked it into my belt and my jacket, like it's thrust there. And he gets the sheet, wraps it around the body, and just kind of flings it around there. And there's no kind of care over the.
Oh no! Wait! Hey! Listen, I understand that you have policies to uphold here, but there's a bit of decorum and some etiquette when you find a deceased person's. Let's treat him with a little bit of respect here.
Doctor, the dead.
Goodness sake, it's Egan Baker we're talking about. This is not some commoner. No offense to commoners, but come on now. Have a little decency.
Clearly, Mr. Baker is now less Baker, more meat. I'll put him in the storage unit.
That was very crass and not funny at all, I'll have you know. And I know humor, okay? I have a very good sense of humor, and that was not good. Just letting you know that right now, right off the bat.
I'm gonna try to I'm gonna ask the conductor I essentially like to bring somebody to help me move the body somewhere where we can just kind of keep it away from people and just sort of isolate it until we like reach our destination. So that way, like, I don't know, another person besides me and the conductor, because I don't know if I trust the conductor fully. I want like more people around.
I will summon the bartender if that's okay.
Yeah, so you go to where he sleeps, which is actually just sort of like in the galley. He's got like a little cot, and as you walk in, he's asleep, and you kind of stir him awake, and he wakes up. What? Oh, it's you, Chris. What's up? He sort of sits up.
there's been an event. Someone's been murdered on the train. We need to get the body as safely. Don't put that face on. Take yourself 2 drinks and come and help me and the doctor move the body quickly and quietly. Do not make a sound.
There's been a murder, he says as he stands up and kind of grabs his jacket and puts it on and starts buttoning it up a bit. And
some would say probably a mercy killing, but let's leave that alone. Come on.
he nods and he sort of goes through into the next dining car. And as he walks in, he sees the dead body and goes, "Oh my."
It's a shock, I know, but we need to be quiet and professional about this. It's what he would have wanted anyway. He wouldn't want a big fuss over this.
I don't mean about the body. I mean about the blood. Who's going to clean that up?
Well, I imagine whoever the custodian is would be responsible for that.
I'm responsible for that.
Oh, well, I'm sorry, but we all have our lot in life. Anyway, help us move this.
And we'll take him through to cargo, because that seems to be the safest place to go, I'm guessing. But tell me if I'm wrong.
We can put him in the cargo with his bodyguard, I guess. Yeah.
Well, put him in the galley seems that's with food, so health and safety probably not the best thing to do.
We probably just don't want that. Yeah.
Yeah.
We should probably wrap him up pretty good. If we're going to take him through second class, we don't want people to maybe know that there's a dead body.
I will do the honors. I've treated many people before, and believe it or not, I'm a veteran, combat veteran, so I've had to deal with death a little bit in my lifetime, so I will deal with this process.
And then I will start to wrap the body. I try to treat. I mean, I'm a warforged, forged for war, right? So I have actually had experience just because of my race. So I will try to treat Mr. Bacher with the due respect I would feel he deserves.
All right.
Sorry, Gary, just the last bit. So the conductor's not being particularly quiet about this. So if anybody overhears that kind of conversation, he's talking quite loudly. There's a tone of disrespect in his voice to this particular individual.
So let's see. I would say that Elaine probably wasn't getting much sleep at this point. So you could probably hear this kind of conversation going on. And I would say that Curly and Connery, you would Canary.
Nari.
Scott, yes, thank you. Kanari, you also would have probably heard the conversation of him waking up the bartender. So you two probably would have heard that. And now that you're kind of been woken up by this sort of conversation, you probably would hear the continued conversation that's going on in the dining car. So the three of you would be hearing this. And Dahlia, you would have seen as you were slinking back from Elaine's room, the conductor.
I ignore. I just keep going back to my room.
Yeah, so you would have ignored him and gone back to your room. That's what I assumed. So you wouldn't hear this because you wouldn't be close enough, but you Elaine definitely do. So we'll pause with you guys for now. You're wrapping up the bodies. So Elaine, what would you like to do as you hear this conversation about how Egan Baker or Backer, if you're in the north or south part of Sharn, is dead?
Well, I can hear the conductor's voice and his conversation, so I immediately get presentable and then just kind of rush out of my room he's been murdered?
So you say he's been murdered, and it sort of echoes in the first class. And so at this point, Traylor, you would hear this. Someone's been murdered. And Dahlia, you would hear this. I don't know if it'd be loud enough to get to the engine room just yet. With the engine, that'd be pretty loud. So I don't think the spouse would hear that just yet. But yeah, you all would hear this now, and everybody at this point would be kind of getting up. And the three of you, the tender and the two of you that are in the dining car would hear the Elaine call that out.
Who's been murdered?
Murder? Somebody's dead?
Baker's dead, apparently.
Oh, I mean, we should have all seen that coming. He was a liar and he was greedy.
I mean,
Everyone, please stay calm. We are dealing with this as best we can. The worst thing possible is for a panic to break out. Okay, let's all just keep our heads on our shoulders here, and keep. Sorry, I have to.
He just like falters and then he goes away. He's just like, you could see a little bit like this isn't really something he thought he'd have to deal with.
I would just like to state that your train, Sir Conductor, is not very safe.
Not at all.
I would just like to continue listening in, but stay in my room.
All right.
I'm gonna walk out of my room. Do I hear them coming through the galley? Or
Yeah. So I would say at this point, Doctor, you've managed to wrap up the body decently, and the three of them can start carrying the body towards the galley. So yeah, they would be moving probably through the galley.
Okay. So I'll kind of just like follow them,
All right.
but not say too much.
So Elaine, where would you be at this point? Are you following them as well? Are you staying in your room? Are you going in the dining car and staying in the dining car?
Sorry, what was that?
Are you staying in the first class car? Are you going into the dining car? Are you following them through the galley? Where would you be going exactly?
I think I'm following them to the galley.
Okay.
Mostly just to know what's actually going on.
Okay. So Dahlia, are you following them as well, or are you staying in
Yes.
first class? Okay.
I'll follow and see what happens.
Follow from a distance.
Sure. Yeah, you can follow from a distance.
Okay.
Traylor, are you following as well? Are you staying in your first class car, or what are you doing?
I'm gonna spend a little time in the dining area and just try to like look around and see if I notice anything.
Sure. Roll me a
Before
perception
following?
check or investigation, whichever you prefer.
Definitely investigation.
Okay. By the way, it doesn't seem that the spouse of Egan, Backer, or Baker, depending from north or south of Sharn, has heard of her husband's death yet.
And that would be a dirty 20.
Okay, so you noticed the same thing that Chris noticed, was that someone must have been standing above him to shoot him in the back, sort of standing over him and pointing down. And there's two shots that you imagine would have gone into him and out into the table, and you see that one of the bullets is sort of embedded in the wood of the table.
Oh, yeah, I'll try to take the bullet out to actually look at it.
Sure, yeah, you take a. You don't have a knife. You take something. Give me just a dexterity check. See if you can
Dinnerware.
dig it out. Yeah,
There's
dinnerware.
dinnerware on the diner car, right?
Sure, yeah, you can find like a little like a spork.
Would I be nearby at all?
Sure, yeah, I can say that you probably would be able to see him and look back and see this.
Okay, I would just hand him a dagger.
You have a dagger on you, mister?
Oh no, that's right, I wouldn't. Never mind. I forgot. Okay, forgot I said that.
Okay, so yeah, you can dig it out eventually with the knife and whatnot from the dining car, so you're fine.
Oh, and do I notice anything like on the bullet, or is it just smashed from going through a person and into wood?
It's pretty smashed, but you notice that this is definitely the bullet from the gun that you've been seeing him sort of throw around.
Okay, I'll just leave the bullet there, and I'll follow the procession, I guess, for lack of a better word.
Sure, yeah. So as you guys continued taking this body from the galley into second class, there's about a good half a dozen people in here that are awake, and they notice that you're carrying something that looks very body shaped. One of them.
Nothing to see here. Just a sack of potatoes is all this is. Just a sack of potatoes.
Roll me a deception check.
I was gonna say something like that as well. Yes, someone fell unconscious. We're just taking him to the medical bay.
Okay, so as you say this, a gentleman stands up, and he is probably more finely dressed than any of you. He has a tie and a nice vest that is embroidered with what looks like even gold thread. He has a pocket watch that's got a gold chain that goes into his pocket, a nice sort of blazer, and he's very finely dressed. He has this huge mustache that sort of goes out and curls around, and a little goatee. And he looks human, but his eyes are strikingly golden colored. And he stands up and says, "Good sir, I believe you to be a liar. My name is Detective Lestrade, and it appears there has been a murder."
It wouldn't happen to be Strahd von Zonovich. I don't know. I just seem to hear that name somewhere. Also, your mustache, sir, I must say, is well manicured, but a little bit noisy, as it were.
I see you're also a man of culture with your fine mustache, though it does look a little bit unkept.
Well, at least you're honest. Something that I can say is a virtue. But remember, too much honesty, too much bluntness can dull a blade.
Ah, yes, but dishonesty makes you a coward, good sir.
Well, I'll say you're the victor of this little battle of wits. Yes, unfortunately, this is, unfortunately, a body. And
like I just continue to like move the body. I try to like not to look at him. Kind of ashamed. Like there's nothing I can really say that can hide the fact that there's like a corpse that I'm carrying through with the barkeep.
Yeah, the barkeep and Chris is sort of walking with you guys. The man looks at you and says, "Well, I wouldn't call it exactly a battle of wits, because it seemed you came unarmed. Take the body to the
I've
cargo
heard that
hold.
one before. That's not even original."
Take the body to the cargo hold. I'll take over this investigation myself." And Chris, as you think about it, you don't remember even letting this guy on the train.
He has a fine moustache. Clearly a man of some standing. So we're going to get the body down there, and then I'll question it. But there's a cavalcade of people behind me, so I'm going to try and move, because it's a bit like when you're stuck in a train, someone's just standing there stretching. It's like, just move people forward so we can get rid of the dead body that's dripping blood everywhere.
All right, yeah. So you guys eventually, like the other people in second class, kind of gasp, and you can hear them whispering, all of you, as you kind of go past. So some of them are saying things like, a woman, dark-skinned and sort of looking of nobility, says, "The house is always sending assassins to deal with their problems. That Egan Backer deserved what he had coming." And sort of halfling next to them says, looking quite terrified, just sort of sitting in his chair, doesn't really seem like he wants to be a part of this conversation, and sort of is telling people to shush and stop talking about it. There's a half elf that looks like they're from the Church of the Silver Flame. They've got a holy symbol of that. He's got a monk bowl cut. He seems convinced that there are changeling hiding amongst the passengers. And as Curly, you kind of are walking in the distance, he goes, "And there's one! I've not seen him before." And then this next person, who looks a bit like a tanned, graying man in his 50s, as he hears this last guy talk about changelings, he starts launching into this elaborate theory about the conspiracy of masks, which claims that changelings are secretly taking over everything. And he starts pointing to individuals going, he's a changeling, he's a changeling. And there's a little halfling girl who's got short brown hair with a large wicker basket and just sort of like clutching it to their chest. But yeah, there's lots of like talking between people. But as you get into the cargo bay, you sort of unlock the door. You've been in here before, Chris. And as you walk in, you see sort of kneeling on the ground, eyes closed, the bodyguard of Backers, Blue Shield, sort of in a powered down mode. He's just kneeling there with his eyes closed, and he has his sort of emblem in front of him, which is just a blue shield. As you enter in with the body and cross, Blue Shield sort of activates and sort of stands up, and he turns and looks at you and says, "What has happened to Backer?"
Backer's dead.
He sort of reaches back and grabs his greatsword off of his back. Who killed him?
Stare at the Warforged and pointedly look down at the body. Move out of the way, bodyguard. We need to put it down. We have to investigate. Now's not the time to carry a sword. Put it away. Your mistress will be here soon.
He sort of stares at you and he puts his two fingers into your chest and says, "If I find out that you did it, I will take your head." And he sort of takes a step back but lets you move past.
Yeah. Sneer at him and then put the body down.
You put the body down. So the rest of you just sort of standing in the doorway of the cargo can see this very elegantly dressed man with a crazy mustache and this Warforged. And the body has been laid on the ground here in sort of the middle of the cargo hold. You can hear the sort of whispers of the other people from second class still muttering about changelings and assassins and whatnot. So starting with Elaine, what would you like to do, Elaine?
Well, I've just seen the altercation that took place between Chris and the Blue Shield, right?
Yes.
I guess I'll approach and say that there could be any number of people that would kill Baker. I could think of 100 reasons offhand why someone would want him dead. This isn't going to be easy.
No murder ever is, says the mustache man as he strokes his mustache.
Did you get any information from the scene of the crime?
I would like to investigate the body first. And he kind of walks over and flips the blanket off or the linen off. And he looks at the body and pulls out a monocle and places it there, and he bends down and starts looking and investigating. And after about 5 or 6 seconds, he stands back up and says, "Well, this indeed has been a murder. 2 shots in the back. The man was standing above him, aiming down. That much I can tell."
Oh, you're so smart. Figured out the same thing that the rest of us did.
Ah. Well, doesn't take a smart person to figure out that there's motive amongst most of you.
Most, meaning not me. I didn't even know the guy. Just from mentions.
I scoff.
Well, I suppose we should begin asking the question of where everyone was at the time of the murder. And he looks at you, Elaine, and says, "Where were you, my dear?"
Well, I don't even know what time the murder occurred, so you've got to be a little more specific.
I
Judging
can
by
help
the
you with
wounds.
that.
Oh. Dr. Silverbane, is it?
Indeed. It seems you know me, but you have me at a disadvantage. What was your name again, Detective?
Detective Lestrade.
Detective Lestrade. Well, I performed a rudimentary autopsy, very, very quickly done because we had to transport the body, you understand. However, it seems to me that this beautiful man, people have been saying some no good things about.
I like shouted out to like the people with their conspiracy theories.
This man died between...
You said it was an hour to 5 hours ago?
Yeah, between an hour and 5 hours ago.
I relay that to the detective.
Well, that's
A
simple.
conclusion I also came across.
Okay, sure, yes. Sure you did. I'm sure, yeah.
That's simple. I was in my room.
In your room.
Yes.
Well, that's not much of an alibi, but I suppose it's a start. And you, Miss, and he gestures to you, Elaine, not knowing your name.
Miss Elaine Flamethorn, and she like holds out her hand a little bit.
He shakes it. You notice that he has several sort of golden rings on his hand and his other hand. And you can see that most of the things that he has is gold. His monocle is gold. His sort of watch is gold. He has gold embroidered onto his jacket and his vest.
Well, I was in my room as well.
Roll me a deception check. Sorry, Delane. Roll me a deception check.
Alia?
Dahlia? Okay.
Delane. And I don't.
I was
Elaine.
I was
I'm
like,
mushing
who?
them together. I'm mushing them together. They become one. Dahlia.
Dr. Chris
Yes.
Delane Crush Canary Curly.
Okay.
Dahlia, roll me a deception check. Yeah.
Sure.
And anybody that wants to can roll an insight check.
Okay.
Oh yeah. I'll be rolling
I'll
an
do that.
insight check.
And
Yeah.
Elaine, you can roll me a deception check as well, please.
Okay.
The advantage I got, is that on my next roll or just any roll?
I'm going to say that it's going to be on a roll that you choose. So if you want it
Okay.
to be on your next roll, you can choose that if you like. Do you want to roll it on this roll?
No, because I got a 24.
Okay.
I got a 19 on insight.
All right. So as you guys are sort of checking, I'll say that your rolls are for both of them. So yeah, Dahlia seems to be telling the truth. However, Chris, you didn't need to roll insight against Dahlia because you know otherwise. So you can speak out if you like.
Less a speaking out, more a kind of clearing of a throat and pointedly looking.
All right, yeah. So you guys would see Conductor Chris is clearing his throat and sort of looking at Dahlia pointedly.
I'm looking back at him.
Would I know what this means? Like is he trying to implicate her, or is he like trying to like
He
say
certainly seems to
even-
know something or think something, perhaps, that he's not quite saying.
Well, would I have heard her going back into her room since our rooms are close to each other and I only trance and I have a 20 passive perception?
I'll let Dahlia.
Stealth.
I'll let Dahlia roll a quick stealth because that's something that we probably should have covered then. But yeah, roll me a quick stealth there, Dahlia, and let's see if you can pass his passive.
Sure.
And also, Dr. Silverbane, you can as well because you only go into a shutdown mode, so you're still fairly aware of your surrounding area.
What do you need me to do?
What's your passive perception?
Good question.
It's a
Passive?
16.
16.
It's a 16. So, because you are in you don't sleep because you're a warforged. You go into a sort of shutdown mode, and as you're in your
Sentry
shutdown mode,
rest, yeah.
you still have a general perception of the surrounding area around you. So, you would have heard the footsteps of what sounded like someone coming from the engine room. You don't know who it would have been. And you would have heard footsteps coming from the other end of first class as they're sort of passing in the night. This would have been before Conductor Chris came to your room and knocked on your door. And yeah, your passive perception, Traylor, would have been enough to have heard the same thing. You would have heard 2 feet passing across your first class room. You would have heard probably Dahlia first, and then you would have probably heard another set of footprints. But you might not have known it was Dahlia. You wouldn't have known it was Dahlia. You would have heard footsteps coming from 2 different directions.
Right, but now with this information, it seems that like the at least the first set was Dahlia.
Right, and you would see Conductor Chris is sort of giving an eye to Dahlia, not saying anything, but just sort of like.
Oh, okay.
You can put 2 and 2 together.
I twirl my mustache and I say, hold on, let me put on my little
Trader. Perhaps 'twas Dahlia who passed by my room last night. Hmm?
How could
She
I
wasn't
have
in your allotted cabin, were you, madam?
Where else would I have been?
Will you tell us?
Fine. I was in Elaine's room.
You do realise, madam, these are single occupancy cabins?
I made it work.
Noted.
Where am I at this point?
You're probably still sort of like in the back of these people. Did you make your way to go fetch the spouse, or are you just sort of chilling with them, watching? Because you can
No.
just be chilling, watching them.
No, I would just be watching them.
Yeah,
I would
so
try
then
to
you're
make
just watching.
myself like blend in with the crowd. So like it's another passenger currently.
Mm-hmm.
So I wouldn't want anyone to recognize me at this point.
Okay. So roll me a stealth check then,
Okay.
if you're trying to blend in with the others passengers, sort of back in second class.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think the only one that would probably notice you would be Traylor, who's got a 20 passive. So
Okay.
yeah, Traylor, you would probably notice as he tries to sort of shift back into the commotion of second class, and you would watch as he sort of. Are you changing from your current look to a different look?
Stealthily, yes.
Okay, so yeah, you would watch him, Traylor, sort of shift as a changeling shifts to a different appearance.
All right, he'll just take note of that.
Okay. The detective looks at you and Dahlia and says, "So you were in not your cabin, but in another's cabin, Elaine's. Interesting. And what were the 2 of you doing, if you don't mind me asking?"
Do you really want to know those details?
Oh, detective,
Well-
not in polite company.
Oh, what
And
a
Elaine-
faux pas, detective.
Yeah, and her
Now I
face just
knew what
like
they meant.
blushes.
So you turn purple instead of blue.
Yeah, I turned purple.
Well, I wanted to clarify because they could have been plotting this poor man's death, as their cart is the closest one to the dining car. Is it not, Miss Elaine?
Yes, that is true.
And you
But I
mentioned
suppose we
something
have an
about
alibi
this-
now.
Oh, but if you're both in cahoots, then your alibi is moot. And you said something about Mr. Backer earlier that seemed as if you might harbor some sort of grudge against him.
I mean, who doesn't harbor a grudge against him?
He's
I
a
do not.
liar. Well,
That's simply
clearly
because you
they
don't know him. He's a bit of a
Hey.
rubbish person.
Absolutely.
No,
I, in fact, know Mr.
Yes.
Backer quite well.
Well, then you
He
know
thought
he's lying.
someone might have been after his life. He had requested me to be on this train for just such an event.
Well, clearly you didn't do a very good job.
And
Clearly.
clearly he chose the worst train to be on, since this train has already tried to kill people before this.
Yeah, you'd
Are
think
you
he would have picked a
suggesting
train
the
that didn't eat
train?
people.
Are you suggesting that the train shot him in the back, good sir?
At this point, who knows?
Yeah.
that's actually, unfortunately, a valid point. I hate to say that.
A mimic came from nowhere and took a gun and shot him in the back, I suppose.
The mimic could have been the gun.
Ooh.
Ooh, indeed.
Okay, well, let's all just calm down, everyone. We can't get too heated pointing fingers at everybody. Let's try to be reasonable about this.
I mean, so far, only I have had fingers pointed at me.
I mean, there is still one person missing from this conversation.
And who
Well,
would
would
that
that
be?
be?
Two, actually.
Well, the spouse is not here.
And
The
Curly,
good lady.
Well, yeah.
Curly tucked himself away into the crowd to try to hide for some reason.
Yes, wasn't he your business partner, Dahlia?
Yes, Miss Dahlia, you're not only in another person's cabin, but your business partner is vanishing. Perhaps he knows something more than he seems to be leading to.
Oh,
It looks
Curly
like
wouldn't
so.
hurt a fly.
I would come towards them at this point. I just wanted to just to make myself noticeable at this point. I was listening to y'all. I didn't want to. I just didn't want to draw attention to myself while you were conversing.
Trying to figure out what evidence we knew. Got it.
Can I roll an
Yes.
insight check on that?
Yes, you can.
I was telling the truth, by the way. So would I roll persuasion
Yeah, just roll me a deception.
or persuasion?
Deception, because I'd like everyone to roll deception even if they're not lying. That way we don't know. That way if I ask you to roll deception, you're not like, everyone's like, oh, they're clearly lying.
Okay.
I got a 23.
So yeah, you can tell that he is telling the truth. With a 23, Dahlia, yeah, she still seems a little suspicious. Like she was in Elaine's room, but she doesn't seem to be lying.
I rolled a 28 with deception.
Okay, so with 28, yeah, Curly seems to be telling the truth.
And where is Miss Baker at?
When you woke up this morning, Chris, you would have seen that she was in her room still.
Mrs. Baker is still in her cabin, unaware her husband has been murdered. Turn to Detective Inspector Lestrade. You've gone up a rank. Perhaps you should go and tell the lady of her husband's demise, since you're in his employ.
He nods and will leave the rest of you to your devices as he goes to fetch Miss Baker.
As soon as he's out of earshot, turn around to the group. I don't know where this detective came from. I didn't check him in the train. I've no idea. I've not seen him before. Have any of you?
And his mustache is subpar at best.
No, it's not.
Okay.
He says from
Anyone
a
else?
distance.
Anyone else?
I
as
have
soon as,
no idea.
I
White,
don't trust him.
I only just saw him in the hallway now. Never seen him before.
I didn't even see him getting on the train.
He didn't, Madden.
as soon as the spouse was out of earshot, I did want to say that isn't it odd that they wouldn't have known at this point. You would think that they would be pretty close to each other. I wonder why she's been avoiding him all this time.
Well, I know a bit about that. They were having some marriage troubles, and it was more of like a political thing, kind of a sticky situation. So together in name, but not very emotionally close, I'm afraid.
Do you know
Yeah,
what
he
kind of,
seems.
troubles they were having.
But it's not something that I'm really at liberty to talk about, but all I can say is that she was a bit unhappy. I mean, she might actually tell us a little bit more from her point of view, but it seemed like she was very unhappy with the marriage, and Baka didn't really care about that very much, as long as they stayed bound. I think it was a political thing, personally.
Would she have anything to gain from his death?
I believe so. I mean, Baka is a very wealthy man, and she's his wife, so yes. Yes, I think she would have a lot to gain, personally.
I would take note of that then.
So it's about at this point that the spouse sort of comes flying up to you, Dahlia, and just bah across the face. You harlot! And she just keeps trying to slap you.
Madam,
Crazy
please calm
erratic woman
down.
away from me.
I'm gonna
So-
try to restrain her, hold her back.
Yeah, roll me in athletics. It doesn't
Okay.
take much. She's not very tough.
Okay.
Yeah, so you manage to, with your big bulk, get between the two of them and sort of hold her back and restrain her. And she's screaming obscenities at you and calling you all sorts of names. She goes, "I knew you wanted him, but I didn't know you wanted him dead."
Oh, I would have never killed him. You dusty old hag.
And with that, she's gonna cast a spell at you. She casts Guiding Bolt at you.
Oh shit.
Well, that escalated quickly.
Oh, I didn't know homegirl had spell.
She, boom, across the room, slams you with a Guiding Bolt. And like at that point, like the detective sort of gets between you as well and goes, Now, madam, calm yourself. Why are you throwing these ridiculous claims?" And she sort of points at you and says, "She was sleeping with my husband."
I don't deny it.
She wanted his money. He gave her gifts. Check her room. I'm sure she has them.
They're in my bag. You should have seen the ring he gave to me. It was much nicer than yours.
She only wanted him for his money. And then he told me he was leaving her. She killed him because she wanted his money. Because he was leaving her.
So I have a question. Why would she get his money if he was dead? Wouldn't you? Since you are his wife.
She signed his will over to her before.
Interesting.
Do you have evidence of this? Because that would be a big deal.
It is in his bag. And
Well,
she
that's-
sort of she pulls his bag around and opens it and pulls out the will. and hands it to the detective. And the detective takes it in his hands and puts his monocle on and begins to read it. It does indeed seem that to be the case. And he turns around and holds it at you, Dahlia. And you can see that it is the case that if he were to die, everything would go to you.
So would I be able to inspect that out for signs of forgery?
Sure, roll me an investigation check.
Okay.
I loved him. Why would I have murdered him?
Investigation.
You loved a lot of people, apparently, miss, says the detective as he gestures to Elaine.
12.
Loved him?
12.
12 versus.
It does not seem like this has been forged. And yeah, Elaine, she did say loved him.
Would that be news to me?
I think you probably would have seen or heard something every now and then. It wouldn't have been very hidden.
Okay.
Dahlia is not very sneaky.
Yes, Elaine. But it was after. I do care for you. And he was never going to leave his cow.
This is getting very disrespectful very fast.
Well, he wasn't a
Detective.
very respectable man.
The detective sort of twirls his mustache a bit and goes, and what did you have a problem with him, Mr. Traylor?
Other than the fact he wouldn't acknowledge that he was my father?
So it
The plot thickens.
I had a feeling I recognized you. I hadn't seen you since you were a baby.
Hmm.
Well, now, the plot does thicken. And you just happen to be on the same train as your estranged father, is that right?
And that makes no sense to me why he would have wanted me here when he refused to acknowledge me.
Which also means that you have a motive for taking him out,
So does seemingly half the people on this train so far.
Admittedly, yes, but I mean, explain yourself maybe a little bit more. Where are you headed? What were you doing?
I was requested to be here. That's all I know.
By whom?
Bye, Mr. Baker.
And you honored his request even though you have a distaste for him.
Yes, but I'm not quite sure why.
Maybe you had a plan.
Dahlia, I do find it suspicious that the next town that we're going to is the same town that they're from.
It is? I had no clue.
And yet you had his gifts in your bag. Wouldn't you know where he's from? If you were with him.
We never really talked much about where he was from or any of that stuff.
I assume you didn't really talk much at all.
No, not really.
The inspector turns to you, Elaine, and says, perhaps you knew about Dahlia's love for Mr. Backer, and perhaps that made you jealous. Did you decide to kill him so that no one else would be competing for your affection?
I knew that Mr. Baker and Dahlia had spent time together, but I didn't kill him. I wasn't jealous enough to do that. I came here in hopes of confessing my feelings to Dahlia, and asking Mr. Baker not to see her again.
And have you done that yet?
I I haven't got the chance, really. Mr. Baker dying really put a damper on all that.
Perhaps you
Detective.
went to speak to him, and that's when you killed him. He said he wouldn't stop seeing her.
Detective,
I was
I
in
do
the
not
room.
believe that this young lady would have been capable of such a despicable act,
So
especially out of such a raw emotion like that.
any potential love interest of Dahlia, you would have been jealous of then.
I was jealous, but not to the point of murder.
The inspector will gesture to the gun and say, "It would take someone of some intelligence to use that device." He looks around at a few of you. I noticed that you seem to be the more clever one here, Elaine.
I mean, I won't deny being clever. But I don't know how that gun works. I mean, I know that Baker's mechanically adept. He's made many machines for war.
Yes, and how did you fare with Mr. Baker? You have a complicated history, do you not?
Perhaps.
Do you care
He's
to
a despicable
elaborate?
man. I've never had respect for him a day in my life. But I didn't kill him.
Though, to be fair, Dahlia does, I think, have a complicated relationship as well.
I have a complicated relationship with a lot of people.
Yes, it appears so. What if someone closer
I'm so
to him
sorry,
knew how to
Elaine.
operate the gun?
Who would you suggest? Dr. Silverbane, perhaps?
Yes, it seems like you've spent the most time with him, Doctor.
Of course I did. I was his retainer. But he doesn't want me hanging around all the time, or didn't want me hanging around all the time. Said I cramped his style,
I
whatever
thought,
that means.
I thought a retainer was something that corrected your teeth.
Oh. You like this?
Yeah.
Little surprise for you there.
Surprise!
But, no, I have stopped fighting, with weapons ever since the war ended. I don't use guns or anything of the sort.
And if you would have been around, maybe you would have seen Mrs. Baker put something into his brandy.
She sort of gasps and says, "I didn't kill him. I just wanted to keep him away from that harlot. Just a sleeping potion, nothing more."
Now, hold on now. I did see this as well, but I didn't say anything because I didn't know if I would be necessarily believed. But you, Trailer, you said you saw the same thing. I saw that. I can corroborate that. I did not know what it was, but it did seem like you drugged him. What did you do?
It was just a simple sleeping potion. I didn't want him to go to that harlot. I wanted him to come home, come to me. I wanted him to fall asleep, and then I would ask you to bring him to bed. That's all. I didn't want him to see her. And she points to Dahlia.
Respectfully, Mrs. Parker, you should have informed me that you were going to do this. This is a very serious thing that you've done. Drugging another person is a steep crime in and of itself.
So because of you doing this, it caused him to pass out in the dining car.
Yes, and I know, Doctor, what Egan held over you.
Pardon?
I know how he treated you. I know you also have a reason to hate him, though you may act like you don't.
Well, I'm a forge of integrity. If I owe a debt to somebody, I pay that debt.
But he was abusing that debt.
What must we speak ill of the dead? The man is no longer with us. We have to speak of him in such terrible terms.
I mean, why would he care? He's dead.
I agree.
That's a good point. You are clever.
Dahlia, when was the last time you were with him again?
I don't know, maybe a few weeks back, maybe sooner.
And make a insight check on that. Can I make an insight check on that?
Yes, you can. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, or would I roll too then?
Yeah, if she's just being deceptive, you can roll a deception check, and you can roll an insight check against that.
Okay.
I'm not rolling anything.
24.
She seems to be telling the truth.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, there is one person we really haven't questioned, and that's the conductor.
Yes, conductor, says the spouse. You have something against my husband as well, didn't you? He was blackmailing you, wasn't he?
You're well aware of your husband and his evil arms trade. But let's be clear, I wouldn't murder him, shoot him in the back. What a waste of time. I'd do it properly, and you wouldn't have found his body. This man was worthless. Look around the train. There's so many lies and deceit around here. He's got a mistress. He's got a wife. He's lied to. He's got an heir here as well. I don't know who the rest of you are, but this man was worthless. His money was the only thing that kept him alive. And then he created these, and I tapped the gun in my belt. Weapons of destruction. No honor, no skill involved in it. You pull a trigger and people die. There's an irony, he died with his own weapon. And I'm sure many people would raise a glass to his demise. But did I kill him? Not on this train. I love this job. I would have got rid of him somewhere else, not on my beloved trains. So, detective, I suggest we move on to the next person, or you tell us who you think it is.
The detective sort of twirls his mustache and says, "No, I don't believe it was the conductor. He's been too obvious about his disdain of the man for it to be him."
Then who would it be, detective?
I believe, based off of the trajectory of the bullet, it had to have been someone of some height. Someone that knew the object well enough to use it. Perhaps it didn't have to be someone of great height. Perhaps it just had to be someone who knew how to use the gun. I believe it might be Elaine. She had motive and reason. However, with the spouse speaking against Dr. Silverbane, I cannot be sure. Could be
I'd
you
like
as
to-
well.
I'd like to cast detect thoughts on Elaine.
Sure. Are you doing it subtly?
Yes.
All right. So, Elaine, what are you thinking?
Just like really fast panic thoughts like, I don't know how to prove my innocence. I didn't do it. I didn't do it. I didn't do it. But how do I say that without looking more guilty?
She didn't do it.
Well, and how do you know that? Because you were the one that did it?
No, I didn't kill him. And I just read her mind. She would never kill anybody.
Or perhaps it was both of you and you're covering up for her.
I would insight check that just because I have a relationship with.
Yeah, you can both. Anyone that wants to roll insight can do that.
Okay.
I do want to roll an insight check.
I got a nat 20.
As did I.
She doesn't seem to be lying.
Hmm.
I have no reason to lie.
Yeah, I got a dirty 20.
Yeah, she doesn't seem to be lying.
No reason to lie, except that you would benefit a great deal from his passing, more so than anyone else here. All that money that's now going to be going your way.
Are you forgetting who I am? I don't need his money.
I can attest to that. I manage her finances.
Maybe it's not for you, or maybe you have plans for that. You might be well off, but A lot of money could do a lot of things. And I don't believe anyone who says, I don't need more money. Everybody says that, but they always want more.
You sure like to point fingers, Doctor. How do we know it wasn't you who killed him?
Because I'm a doctor.
And
I heal people, I don't kill people. At least
The
not
spouse
since the war.
says at this point, when you say that you're a doctor, she says, "No, you're not."
Good heavens, what are you saying?
Egan knew this. That's what he held over your head.
Now see here! This is outrageous! You're accusing me of not being an accredited professional. I carry a license with me at all times. See, it says right there, doctor, not Mr. Doctor. 8 years of medical school.
The detective will take it from you and say, "Let me take a look at this."
Yeah, I was gonna ask the same thing.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
You can.
You're the
you
only
can,
person
anyone,
who doesn't speak ill of him.
anyone that wants
You
to.
keep saying that
can
we should
roll.
respect him to not draw blame to yourself.
Well,
The
I do have a
detective
passive
says-
25 investigation, so do I need to roll that?
You can tell that there's something not quite right about this certificate. And the spouse says, Egan gave you that certificate to cover up your lies, and he held it over your head and made you do things, unspeakable things. What do you have to say about that?
Perhaps the man was not as good as I say that he was. I will admit that. And perhaps, as skilled as I am at medicine, and I've earned the title of doctor through years of work in the field, perhaps I didn't actually get it from a university, say.
As you're talking,
But that changes nothing.
As you're talking here, you can hear the rumbling of the clouds outside, and
That don't sound good.
Okay, you're you're turned into a potted plant.
I knew it.
Wait, I'm turned into a potted plant?
You're turned into a potted plant.
Okay, so I go,
And I'll have you know that
and then I just like, and the potted plant has shimmering green leaves that almost look like they're made of metal, and a little pink flower at the top.
What?
As
And then,
you're turned into the potted plant, the detective sort of twirls his mustache and says, "Well, it seems that the second best mustache in the room just became a potted plant."
I immediately.
Dare he? I can't say anything. How dare he?
I immediately try to outdo his mustache, like try to make like the biggest, curliest mustache that I can.
All right. So the detective will pick you up and smash you, and you are reverted back into your normal self. Because we've only got 3 minutes left to solve this crime.
Bro! What in the blazes was that?
Yes,
As you were saying,
that was the potted plant of justice.
the wild magic believes that you're the criminal.
What is this, some sort of witch trial? I think this is absolutely preposterous.
Well, as much as I believe that it could have been the retainer, but unfortunately, he does have an alibi.
And the one that hasn't spoke this whole time speaks now that her accomplice has been pointed out. Is that it?
Accomplice? No, I've spoken quite a few times, pointing out different details, and you just haven't asked me any questions, and I've been around enough people like you to know that I shouldn't say anything unless spoken to. So, I kept my words to myself as much as possible, as to not get unlawfully untrue statements said about me.
Well, the only true statement I can say about you is that Backer owed you a great debt, and he refused to pay you.
Well, yes, that is true. But I was here to try and convince him to pay that debt, and I was hoping, by being invited, that he would have been trying to pay it back.
I
Besides
also
which,
know
his death would not have benefited her at all. If she's looking to get that debt, if he dies, the money goes to Dahlia.
I also know that you were the one that paid, and he gestures over to you, Traylor. Paid Traylor's mother.
Well, that would be the debt that he owes me, of course. I'm not gonna hide it. Not like I have anything to hide here. Also, none of us know you. Not even the loyal retainer knows you, and he knows all of the Bakker's business. So
Who the hell are you?
why
You
should we
just
point to
waltz in here, you detective.
As
You
I
just
said,
show up. Even the conductor didn't bring you onto this train. Isn't that right, Chris?
he sort of takes a step back and he says, I will show you who I truly am. And he begins to shift, getting larger and larger and larger, ripping through his clothes. And you watch as his skin turns golden in color and scales begin to form as a ancient dragon now sits within the cargo hold of the train. And
Does he
with
fit in the
that,
train?
unfortunately, we have to pause.
Well, that was something.
Okay, and at the same time, oh my goodness, and at this time, train conductor Chris, you have been taken over by an intellect devourer.
Fine, no real change.
No
Except
real
for
change.
Santa.
Oh man.
So who was the murderer?
Who did it?
I can't tell you. I'm sorry,
No.
I can't tell you.
What if I donate? Then will you tell me?
If you donate, I'll tell you. Yeah.
I donated earlier.
We must know who was the murderer. For the chat.
All right. God, you guys were so close, but then you kept getting like on the other people. The murderer was Dr. Silverhand. Silverbane. It's Dr. Silverbane.
It was the
Indeed,
potted
it was.
plant of justice.
It was the potted.
That was kind of a what it was a hate-filled, rage-induced killing from years of abuse, but it only happened because we saw what the spouse did to his drink. And when I told the Ice Queen, someone who I've known just as long as I've known Bakker, she told me the time was right. So it was really kind of like a two-person murder.
And he knew the Ice Queen because she was the one that paid off Bakker's heir, and he knows Bakker for basically ever. Dr. Silverbane did. So yeah, the Ice Queen wanted the debt collected. I'm not exactly sure why she decided to kill him, but she sort of just came onto the train of her own accord. She wasn't even invited by Bakker. He didn't even know she was here. But yeah, it was her, and it was also Dr. Silverbane, who is not a real doctor.
That's his terrible secret that he.
Yeah, how
That
does
was
it
his
feel,
terrible secret.
Mr. Silverbane?
Oh, oh, those years in medical fake college wasted.
Thank you all at home for watching. Please stay tuned because we have another amazing game that is coming up here in about 30 minutes. We will have No Nat Ones, and he will be running Pathfinder 2e. Don't forget to do your donations because your donations will impact every game that will be played here. We'll go around the table real quick before we sign off. Just say who we are and where you can find us. I'll go with Cool Boy Shane over here, the killer.
Oh yes, I'm Killer Cool Boy Shane. I have a YouTube channel. It's just called Cool Boy Shane. I do animations and a podcast. I actually have a big animation coming out in like a week's time. So if you want to subscribe and check that out, you absolutely can. I also you can find me on Twitter at Cool Boy Beebles.
Cool. Eldritch Sugar.
Yes, hello. Thank you so much for tuning in. On all my social media, it's Eldritch_sugar, all lowercase. I do animations on YouTube too, and just art in general. So yeah, thanks so much for your support.
Fenway Jones.
Yeah, well, hi everyone. Like I said before, I'm Fenway Jones, also known as Fenway the Teen DM on Twitter. I am the founder of Jasper's Game Day, and so you can also find me on all of the social medias at Jasper's Game Day. Thank you so much for everyone who donated and for everyone who's watching. Super excited to get to the next game and be able to provide more entertainment.
Gil, our amazing DM.
Hi, I'm the DM for Are You Sure You Want to Do That? We're a little bit on a hiatus until I get going again with the campaign because we TPK'd in Icewind Dale. And we decided we're going to do something different. But we'll probably go back to Icewind Dale eventually. So yeah, stay tuned. We'll be doing that. Probably going to be doing more one-shots and stuff like this. So we have like little small things where we can get people to, maybe donate to good causes or just donate to me because I'm poor, things like that. I don't know. But, whatever. Who knows? And maybe we can do something like this with one-shots and stuff because this was really fun. The mimics and this rug of smothering.
So
and now
much
that
fun.
or a conductor with the brain, So yeah.
Potted Plant of Justice.
Potted Plant of Justice, exactly. Yeah.
Chris.
I very much enjoyed being murdered by the wonderful people out in chat. So thank you. You tried to kill me with a door. You tried to kill me with a rug. A potted plant nearly did damage to me. And then finally, you had my brain eaten. So I just like to thank you to the brilliant. So to our DM, thank you for doing this. For the mods who are looking after us in the background, thank you so much for doing this. Go and follow Fenway, go and follow Eldritch Sugar, go and follow Cool Boy Shane as well. Those people do stuff on the internet. I just Google. Ignore me, get on with it.
Mike, Silent Chariot.
You can usually find me streaming either at So Many Games or Thread Raiders. My Twitter is Silent Chariot. This has been a really fun game.
Absolutely. And last but obviously not least, Tony.
Yeah, this was actually my first time ever doing a live stream. And you can find me on Twitter at Tony C. Beardsley. Thanks everybody that donated and for tuning in.
Absolutely. And I am Ashley DeBard on, as I said, all social media. So you can find me a little bit of everywhere. And special thanks to our streamer, Mary, who is our artist, and she is amazing. And we appreciate her for doing everything. Without her, we would not have the stream going right now.
Yeah.
She's very good at the stream.
And we are ready to sign off. So you guys have a beautiful and healthy day. Stay safe, and we'll see you on the next game.
Yeah, I'll see ya.
All right. See y'all later. Bye-bye.